On the Southern View, we'll keep a close track of that news as well as the rest here on NDTV.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
Platinum. Get the magic of the best working for you now.
Link your payment cards once, collect rewards forever.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
Finally, I'm here. Finally, this is the time जहाँ पे मैं आपके सवालों के जवाब देता हूँ in this section, which happens to be my favorite as well, and it's called Ask TG. Let's see इस week हमारे पास में कौन से सवाल हैं. To be honest, in Android TV, we don't have any.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The national capital of India, New Delhi, continues to suffer an acute water crisis, and politics is playing all over it. In fact, the Supreme Court today came down heavily on the Delhi government over the prevalence of tanker mafia and water wastage in the city, and asked if Delhi government had taken all measures to counter them. In fact, Delhi government said that there is action, including massive disconnection of water supplies so that excess water wastage is stopped. Now, the top court has asked Delhi government to file a report stating the action taken for the loss of water. The matter again will be taken up on Thursday. Residents of Delhi for the last few days have been grappling with severe water shortages. This is coming amidst a sweltering heat wave that's going on for the past few days in the northern part of India. And this has been a long festering problem. The Delhi water crisis. Delhi has been largely dependent on its neighbouring states of Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh to meet around 90% of its drinking water needs. The politics over this matter, water that is so critical to human dignity, has been, although, a constant feature. The BJP has accused Aam Aadmi Party of lying and fomenting the crisis by mishandling resources, while the Aam Aadmi Party has counter-attacked by alleging that the BJP government in Haryana continues to not release the city's share of water despite claiming to do so. And it has also fired shots at the Lieutenant Governor of New Delhi. Now, why does Delhi struggle with so much water shortage, especially in the pre-monsoon months of April and May? And how can this problem be fixed? Who needs to to own this responsibility? That is what we ask tonight in our show. We'll be joined by a panel of guests, but first, here's a report.
As Delhi's water crisis deepens in this harsh summer, the 102-kilometre-long Munak Canal from Haryana to Delhi, the main source of drinking water to the national capital, has become the biggest bone of contention between the two states and between the BJP and Delhi's AAP government. The BJP has accused the AAP government of failing to stop pilferage from the canal, while the Delhi LG has said as much as 1/5 of Delhi's water is being stolen from the canal within the boundaries of the capital. The Aam Aadmi Party has refuted the allegations and said the Haryana government is deliberately withholding water for Delhi. At Ground Zero, the NDTV team found this tanker marked with Delhi Jal Board initials, drawing water from the canal. Something a legitimate DGP tanker is not supposed to do.
The Delhi BJP, in fact, has also raised questions on the Delhi government. In fact, they have gone on to say that the tankers that are present here, and we are showing you in our very frame, you can see the tankers that are present here, the private tankers that are present here. The BJP alleges that they are in fact taking water, stealing water from here, and that is why the water scarcity is only deepening here.
This as the Supreme Court asked tough questions to the AAP government, asking what they were doing to crack down on the tanker mafia in the capital. Earlier today, Delhi Water Minister Atishi said that the government would ensure zero water was wasted from leakages in the capital.
It is the residents of Delhi who continue to be on the suffering end, and they are still waiting for all the stakeholders to come together and take action and provide them with a concrete solution that could end this crisis. Now with camera person Xavier, this is Shika Verma for NDTV.
Okay, joining us now is Amit Tiwari, spokesperson of Delhi BJP. We have Siddharth Sharma, Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson, and we also have Professor Anjal Prakash, who's a professor at the Indian School of Business and also a water and climate expert. All of you, thank you so much for joining me on this show. To you first, Mr. Amit Tiwari. Sir, how do you see this? Because, while Aam Aadmi Party has been blaming Haryana government and saying that it's the BJP that is deliberately stopping water, it is the BJP that has been at the centre. Delhi is the national capital. Can you tell us what has the centre done to address a problem like this, which has been festering for so long?
See, the water is a state subject. It is for the Aam Aadmi Party, Delhi government to take care of itself. But let me give you some facts that will clarify the situation. In 2013-14, the water available with the Delhi was 906 MGD. The requirement was around 1100 MGD. Over a period of time for last 10 years, obviously the population has grown up. And today the availability of water has hardly gone up from 906 to 943 MGD, whereas the requirement is 1350 MGD. Now till yesterday, the allegations levelled by Aam Aadmi Party was that the Haryana is not releasing the water released by the Himachal Pradesh, and the second allegation was that the Haryana is reducing the share that the Delhi is entitled to. The Haryana filed its affidavit before the Supreme Court. Everybody heard what has happened in the Supreme Court today. On oath, when the affidavit was filed, Supreme Court perused the entire affidavit and then said, and came down heavily on Aam Aadmi Party government, that you are lying. You are not doing proper governance. There is a mismanagement. There are tanker mafias which are operating. There are Google images that we have shown. There are complaints where their MLAs are involved in those tanker mafias. We have presented some of the complaints along with the evidence. So it's not that the Delhi is getting less water. The Haryana has categorically said that the Delhi is getting more than its share, 1050 cubic of water. But there is a pilferage. Yes, there are tanker mafias, private tanker mafias, who are stealing the water, and therefore the people of Delhi are today deprived of the clean drinking water, which is their fundamental right.
Water shortage, water wastage seems to be the problem. Yes, sir. Mr. Sharma, would you like to respond to that? And also, see, the Supreme Court, when Thursday, when it directed Himachal Pradesh government to release, 135 or 137 cusecs of water, it was seen as maybe that's a little bit of a win for the Aam Aadmi Party government. But today's observations of the court are very serious because it's asking your government what are the steps that you've taken all these years, to ensure that common people don't suffer, something that we see around the city these days, people scrambling for water even as this heat wave is going on. So how do you respond to the BJP's allegations, and more so, how do you see the Supreme Court's observations today?
Yeah, Vasudha, you asked me how do I respond to BJP's allegation. I'll respond to that allegation later, but there are some facts that need to be known. Fact number one, where is the water from Haryana, 1050 cusecs that was supposed to come daily to Delhi? According to the Haryana affidavit filed in the Supreme Court, it has said the mea culpa that for 25 days in May, a total of less than 1000 cusecs of water was released from Haryana. This is what Haryana is saying on record in an affidavit in the Supreme Court. Even on 9th of June, that is day before yesterday, there was only 985 cusecs of water released from Haryana in place of 1050 cusecs. That is the water aspect. Although Delhi has an understanding with MOU with Himachal Pradesh to send water, but Haryana, as per its own affidavit in the Supreme Court, has said that it is not releasing water as per the norms agreed to. Point number two, regarding the water tankers. There is an interesting case
please
here.
Hold on to that thought of yours. We'll just come back to you in a bit. There's some breaking news. There's a high-level committee meeting. There's a high-level meeting that's happening at the Prime Minister's residence now. This is with regard to the Kuwait fire in which nearly 40 Indians have been killed. This is a huge tragedy that has happened in Kuwait, and there's a high-level meeting that's happening at Prime Minister Narendra Modi's residence. The fire broke out today morning, reportedly in a kitchen at the lower floor, and quickly spread into the building. This is a building in Kuwait. We are yet to get details about this meeting. I have my colleague Mohammad Ghazali joining us with more details on this. Ghazali, tell us what do we know about this fire incident and also the meeting that's taking place at the PM's office?
See, this fire incident took place at around 6 a.m. in the morning local time, and after that perhaps the entire building caught fire. It's a 6-story building and more than 150 people, as we're being told, were housed in that particular complex, and perhaps this entire apartment had laborers who were working for a private company owned by somebody from Kerala, after the fire broke out in the ground floor while somebody was preparing food, it is spread across the buildings. People also tried to escape the fire by jumping out of the building, and they broke their bones or fractured their body parts. But what we know so far is that more than 41 people are killed. Most of them are Indians. The breakdown of how many are Indians and how many are of other nationalities is yet to be shared by the authorities there. But the Kuwait's interior minister has also called for strict action against the owner of the building, the janitor or whosoever was responsible, and also against those who violated the fire safety norms, if any. Now, as far as the high-level meeting is concerned, in a short while from now, External Affairs Minister, his deputy, or say the Minister of State, Kirti Vardhan Singh, and other senior officials of the External Affairs Ministry would be attending a meeting at PM's residence to chalk out the strategy that what needs to be done once Mr. Vardhan will arrive there in Kuwait, because he has been asked to assist those who have lost their lives to bring their mortal remains from there, and also assist those who are injured and are admitted in the hospital. The identity of those who are injured or have died is still being ascertained, or the information is being collected, because those who have got mild injuries, they can only identify those who were staying with them in that building and are injured or have been killed in the fire. So it is taking time to ascertain, to collect the details of those who are the victim of this fire incident in Kuwait. And also the Indian ambassador to Kuwait visited the hospital, met all those, and ensured that they're getting proper treatment. Besides that, a helpline number has also been issued for all those back in India who know that their loved ones or their relatives were trapped in that incident.
Right. Thank you, Ghazali, for joining us with those details. In an unfortunate incident, at least 40 Indian nationals have been killed in a devastating fire in Kuwait. There's a high-level meeting that's happening at the Prime Minister's residence right now. In fact, important ministers have been there, and there are ways that are being chalked out to reach out to family members. Going back to the discussion to the discussion with Amit Tiwari, and of course of the BJP, and Siddharth Sharma of the Aam Aadmi Party, and Anjal Prakash, who's a climate expert, on who is responsible for the water crisis in Delhi. Mr. Sharma, you were telling us that it is not the Aam Aadmi Party that is responsible for this, but clearly, yesterday I was looking at the power outages controversy, and I saw the minister blaming the UP government, and for this you're blaming the Haryana government. So clearly there is some responsibility that does lie with Aam Aadmi Party, isn't it?
I didn't blame Haryana government. I just stated the facts, what the Haryana government said in the Supreme Court, the Mia Culpa that Haryana said. I didn't blame anyone.
Right.
Point number 2, regarding the water tanker mafia. It will be interesting to note that last year in June 2023, exactly 1 year ago, there were 1,200 water tankers in Delhi. But today, 1 year later, when we are seeing an unprecedented heat wave, there are only 888 tankers functional in Delhi. Between this period, when an unprecedented heat wave is going on, the water tanker numbers should have increased. The water tanker numbers have decreased. The Delhi government has repeatedly asked and written to the Delhi Jal Board CEO that these tanker numbers have to be increased. They have not been increased. This clearly now seems like a potential collusion of executive with the tanker mafia. Since this now becomes a criminal act, the law and order police of Delhi is answerable to this. And this is what the LG is also accepting. LG is also accepting that there is a tanker mafia. Now, if there is a criminal act in Delhi, the criminal act of Delhi falls under the LG himself. So is the LG self-implicating himself here? I don't know. It is for him to answer.
Right. Mr. Tiwari, would you like to respond to that before I go to Anjal Prakash?
Yes, I will like to respond. I will give you some quick facts, some historical facts that will expose the character of the Aam Aadmi Party. Till 2021, for the Parali incident, only Punjab was responsible.
Okay, let's not talk about Parali here. Okay, let me go to Anjal Prakash now. I'll come back to you in a bit. I will come back to you. Sir, Mr. Tiwari, I'll come back to you in a bit. Let me go to Mr. Prakash. Mr. Prakash, despite oversight by pollution control boards and interventions by, the NGT, Yamuna remains, one of the most polluted rivers because, while we talk about contaminated water, I was looking at the other complaints of people. There is less water, there is contaminated water. What do we do about Delhi's clean water supply? Because there seems to be a need to act on climate action and also in terms of improving, institutionalizing some reforms with respect to how Delhi provides water to its residents, because this is a constantly growing city. It's a city of migrants, and even Delhi's economic survey report says that our water demands are increasing every day.
Yeah, Vasudha, I'm actually having a deja vu because this is the third year, if my memory serves me right. I'm actually sitting in a panel discussing same issue in June with different party spokesperson, and that the problem is that we have not been able to, help the people of Delhi. One, the political leadership and whoever it is, at the helm of the affair has failed people at large, and that's the most problematic part of this whole issue. Not that we don't know what the causes are. Let me just put up 3 major causes. One is definitely that Delhi water is dependent on its neighboring state. But 90% of Delhi's water actually come from because it's a lower riparian state. It comes from Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh all together, right? Second major issue is about the water infrastructure. Delhi has not invested in its water infrastructure, and that's why we have this very iniquitous what I would say distribution of water. We have about 100 milliliter per capita per day to 225 liters per capita per day. That's the distribution, and in fact, that's an average. Some places it's even lower. In slums like Sangam Vihar and all that, it's as low as 40 to 50 liters per capita per day, and that is where we are doing. The third part is about the climate-induced heat wave that we have seen, which is unprecedented in nature. 52 degrees centigrade is something that has not heard of, and this is going to grow. Right. And this is a force multiplier. What I actually am appalled to see, and this is not something which is not known to the policymakers. Whoever is in charge must take this into account. Right. That we should not come on the same panel next year.
Okay, let me ask the BJP spokesperson, Mr. Tiwari, what the expert said is very important because, he says that this is something that happens every year. Now, at the core of this issue, we all understand is the water sharing dispute with Haryana. Delhi government has often, criticized Haryana government. Let's not get into that. But clearly, you are at the center and Delhi is the capital of the country and it is the city that basically hosted the G20 presidency, something that your government very proudly talks about. Today, and even on Thursday, the Supreme Court made it very clear that there should be no politics on water. Shouldn't the centre also be playing a bigger role in this? Because at the end of the day, Delhi is a union territory and Aam Aadmi Party is a much smaller party.
Ma'am, people cooperate when there is a cooperation from both the sides. I fully agree with the environmental experts sitting along with me that yes, certainly every year this is a problem, this has to be resolved. But what has happened today is the Supreme Court has said that the Haryana is releasing water. Now, do they not believe in Supreme Court? Till yesterday, the allegation was something else. Now, today, Ms. Atishi is writing that tanker mafia is rising, tanker private mafia is rising. Please take action and please Delhi police take action. Now, my friend is also saying that the core and the bottom issue is the people must get water. That is the responsibility of Aam Aadmi Party today. So, instead of blaming other states for every failure or in every year, that is the reason why I was giving the example of Parari that till 2021 it was only Punjab. But last year it was Haryana, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. Last year when there were floods in Delhi, mainly because dredging did not take place, desilting did not take place, drainage was not properly cleaned, they said that Haryana has released excess water. Now today the facts are on record with the Supreme Court. When the Supreme Court gives them some kind of relief, maybe a 21 days interim relief, they say that the democracy has been saved. Supreme Court is the best institution. So today Supreme Court has
from you, Mr.
criticized
Sharma.
you,
I'm really
has
sorry, Mr.
come
Tiwari.
down very heavily that what action did you take? Please file report.
Mr. Sharma, last word from you, 30 seconds. Just tell us how are you planning to address this problem? Because you've been at power in the centre for power in Delhi for the last 10 years.
I think you answered the question rightly when you asked the BJP spokesperson that as the bigger party, because we have to understand that intrastate water disputes, the Water Commission of India, the Prime Minister chairs it. Even if there is a Tamil Nadu and between Karnataka, there is a water dispute, water problem, the Prime Minister is supposed to solve it. What is the BJP saying that for some reason, if the mother,
but your party has been in power in Delhi for the last 10 years, and your Chief Minister also talks about statehood.
The BJP to ensure that the people of Delhi are solved. What is the Prime Minister doing here? What is the Prime Minister doing here? He is the chairman of the Central Water Commission. He is supposed to intervene. Why isn't he intervening? That's the question here.
But sir, there is responsibility on your party as well, right? You've been in power for the last 10 years. What is it? Is there a clear, a program that you have in your mind, or is it because the Chief Minister is in jail that the party in some ways is floundering and not being able to take important policy decisions that the city deserves?
So that means that Gurgaon is not getting water right now, and Gurgaon is in BJP area, BJP rule. So does that mean that the Prime Minister, because for the last 8 days after the election results, he has been a lame duck Prime Minister, that is why Gurgaon is not getting water. So are you saying that India has chosen a lame duck Prime Minister, so for the next 5 years there will be no policy? Because that's the same argument that you're taking right now for Arvind Kejriwal. You are saying Arvind Kejriwal is a lame duck Chief Minister. I'm saying that Mr. Narendra Modi is the lame duck Prime
last
Minister.
word from you, Mr. Prakash. Anything that you say as an expert that needs...
I am actually, thank you so much. I mean, my actual request with folded hand to both the parties actually just sit across each other. This is the problem of the people, and poorest of the poor people are actually suffering. You can see the images here. Have some mercy on these people. Sit across the party line. I think this is not a time for us to blame game. Just get the water for the people who needs it the most.
That's so well said. Thank you, Mr. Prakash. Thank you, Mr. Sharma. Thank you, Mr. Tiwari, for joining me on this show. The water crisis comes even as the temperatures in New Delhi have been more than 43 degrees Celsius. More than 200 people have died due to heat wave. The inadequate water supply not only makes necessary sanitation difficult, but also brings about very difficult economic repercussions, including illness and also surge in healthcare expenses, which is why, like Mr. Prakash said, it's important for all stakeholders to sit, talk and resolve this crisis. That's all we have for you in this discussion. Moving on. to an important state of Odisha, where the BJP has managed to sweep. And of course, the first BJP Chief Minister of Odisha has taken oath today. Mohan Majhi is BJP's tribal face of Odisha. Two deputy chief ministers have also taken oath with Mr. Majhi. The BJP ended Naveen Patnaik's 24-year rule with this swearing in. And of course, one of the nicest things was that Naveen Patnaik, the record-breaking chief minister, was also present at this oath-taking ceremony. You can see the visuals here. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who attended Chandrababu Naidu's swearing-in ceremony in the morning in Andhra Pradesh, was also present for his party's oath-taking ceremony in Odisha today evening. I have my colleague Saurabh Gupta joining us with more details on this. Saurabh, the visuals in some ways are very positive for a democracy. Naveen Patnaik and Narendra Modi meeting old friends. You know, these are friends who turned foes, but clearly the friendship seems to be more than that.
Yes, I mean, this election saw the relationship plummeting to perhaps a low that no one had expected, with the Prime Minister, also questioning a controversy over
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
From defense to manufacturing. To create the big dream, the world comes together at Sharda University.
वो मिस्टर विकास की फाइल आप पॉलिसी बता मैम आपका हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस क्लेम अप्रूव हो गया है अब आप सर को घर ले जा सकते
was exchanged between Jay Panda and Naveen Patnaik. So that perhaps is one of the things that we saw that happened. But apart from that, what we've also seen is an exemplary day where the BJP has managed to finally form a government on its own. We saw one chief minister, two deputy chief minister, 8 cabinet ministers and 5 ministers of state independent charge being sworn in. We are now at the Lok Seva Bhavan. And behind me there is the talisman of, what Naveen Patnaik perhaps every day looked at when he arrived here for governance purposes. The chief minister has come here now. I believe they're having a meeting. And perhaps the cabinet, I don't know, but they're having a meeting. And now, of course, that there's also a press conference expected. So, well, at a press conference, you can expect some chaos, and it looks like there's going to be some chaos. But obviously, a very, very important day for the BJP, and the BJP made it a big show. All their leaders, I saw Pramod Sawant on stage, I saw the Goa Chief Minister very much present there. I saw several other top leaders, JP Nadda, Amit Shah, and several other BJP chief ministers. If I'm not mistaken, I think I also saw Bhupendra Patel, but I could be wrong. But again, these are important moments. The BJP showcasing its chief ministers in other states, bringing them in, flying them in. The Prime Minister flying in, the Union Home Minister, the BJP President, the Defence Minister, everybody was there actually to attend what the BJP considers its big moment in the East. Remember, Vasudha, before the elections, we were talking about how the BJP was looking at Bengal, Odisha, Northeast.
Yes.
All the other places haven't gone according to the results they would have wanted, but Odisha suddenly has delivered, certainly for them, and therefore, all of them turning up for the swearing-in.
Right. So basically that was in Odisha. Also, Saurabh, tell us about the deputy chief ministers and the other ministers who have taken oaths there. Do we know anything about them? And you're right, that is Bhupendra Patel, the chief minister of Gujarat, also greeting the Prime Minister and Naveen Patnaik. Tell us about the other ministers who took oath and also the deputy chief ministers.
Well, I mean, firstly, the Chief Minister, Mohan Majhi, tribal face, then the Deputy Chief Ministers, Kanakvardhan Singh Deo, and also Pravati Parida. Again, a very fine balancing act. Kanakvardhan Singh Deo, an old hand, experienced hand, somebody who knows the administration, was in government with Naveen Patnaik when the Biju Janata Dal and the Bharatiya Janata Party were in alliance. And then, of course, you had, Pravati Parida was a woman face, but then Suresh Pujari and others, all the top leaders taking oath as cabinet ministers, and that's also important. because you had representations. In fact, I was speaking to one of the youngest MLAs in the assembly at 26, Upasana Mahapatra, who told me that this is perhaps the new beginning of the Kamal blooming in Odisha.
Right. Thank you, Saurabh Gupta, for joining us with those details. New beginning in Odisha, the first BJP government there, and of course, the new Chief Minister and two Deputy Chief Ministers have been sworn in. Naveen Patnaik, the former Chief Minister of Odisha, was also present at the swearing-in ceremony, and of course, Prime Minister graced the occasion. He was also present for Chandrababu Naidu's oath-taking ceremony in the morning today, and of course, this was a new beginning for Odisha. Big day for Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. Time for a short break. More news and updates on the other side.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. 10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
Our life is anyway quite easy these days because हमको वो cash carry नहीं करना पड़ता है. We can make the payments just using UPI. हमारे phone से instant एक QR scan करके हम payment कर देते हैं. But the question is कि अगर आपके पास में आपका wallet नहीं है और आप UPI के भरोसे घर से निकल गए, let's say you don't get internet signal as well. Sometimes ऐसा होता है और आपको अगर वहाँ पे UPI से payment करना है, how would you do it? Guys, the simple answer is कि आप बिना इंटरनेट के भी UPI से पेमेंट्स कर सकते हैं if you just follow the following instructions. सबसे पहले आपको आपके फोन से डायल करना है *99#. जी हाँ, ये कुछ ऐसा ही है जो पहले हम डायल करते थे *123#, *121#, for all our balance.
This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Hello, Moto.
Hello and welcome. You're watching the news. I'm Gargi Rawat. Coming up ahead, a massive fire tragedy in Kuwait. 40 Indians killed. We'll get you all the latest. Also, two new chief ministers were sworn in today. The Prime Minister attended both events. All that and more coming up ahead. Let's take a look at the headlines. A massive fire in a residential building in Kuwait. 40 Indians are dead, 30 people injured, 90 Indians were rescued. A high-level meeting today at the Prime Minister's residence, and the MOS External Affairs will leave for Kuwait tonight. New chief ministers take charge in Andhra Pradesh and in Odisha. Chandrababu Naidu, back as the chief minister for a fourth term, says it's a historic mandate as Odisha gets its first BJP chief minister in Mohan Majhi, its tribal face. NDTV finds a tanker illegally filling water at the key canal from Haryana to Delhi. As Haryana counters, the AAP government says enough water is being released. The Supreme Court today asked the Delhi government what measures are they taking to counter the tanker mafia and water wastage. In Jammu and Kashmir, there have been 3 terror attacks in 3 days. 2 terrorists were killed today in an overnight encounter. Rahul Gandhi hits out at the Prime Minister, says 3 terror attacks. The Prime Minister, however, is busy with congratulatory messages and celebrating. Was Kannada actor Darshan present at the scene of the crime when Renuka Swamy was killed? Bengaluru police interrogating the star and his girlfriend actress Pavitra Gowda. Both were taken to the spot where the body was recovered. And the World Bank raises India's growth forecast, says India to remain the fastest growing major economy, a steady growth of 6.7% projected over the next 3 years. All right, let's get you all the latest we are getting from Kuwait, where many Indians are dead. Now it is finally confirmed that 40 Indians have been killed in this fire that broke out in a building in the southern Mangaf district of Kuwait. A devastating fire. Now, this building housed Indian workers. It was owned also by an Indian. The fire started in the kitchen of the 6-story building, is what officials have said. And they've also reported that the building had nearly 160 people living in it who are workers of the same company. Eyewitnesses said some people even jumped from the 5th floor of the building to escape the fire and died. Prime Minister Narendra Modi condoled the deaths and said the Indian embassy is closely monitoring the situation and working with authorities there to assist the affected. In fact, the ambassador also visited the hospital where many injured Indians were being treated, as well as the building where the fire broke out today evening. There's also a meeting at the Prime Minister's residence. Well, joining us for more from is Revan D'Souza, Managing Editor, The Kuwait Times. Also, NDTV's Mohammed Ghazali, who will bring us the latest from here. Revan D'Souza, thank you so much for joining us here at NDTV. What is the latest that you can share with us? A devastating fire, so many people dead.
Yes, absolutely. It's a very sad day for all Indians living in Kuwait. We woke up to this tragic news of a huge fire in the south of Kuwait, close to the oil town Ahmadi, in Mangaf residential area. And while still we are waiting for more details about the nationality of all those who died, including the state-wise Indians, which is numbering more than 40 who have been killed by this blast. But what is happening now is the government of Kuwait has taken prompt, swift action. They have, of course, immediately provided medical care and all assistance to those Indians or those people who have been affected by this fire. And simultaneously, they have clamped down on all kinds of illegal encroachments or buildings which don't have fire and safety standards. So this is the other side, but we are still waiting for numbers because the patients have been spread over several hospitals. They're not in one hospital; they are all over different areas, and so this is a little bit confusing to find out facts and details, except from the official sources. So there are still some in ICU and battling for their life, and we hope and pray that there might be a recovery. But it's tragic. It's truly tragic, and I think the aftermath of this huge blast will have many implications for the laborers here and for the employers.
That's right. The confirmation that 40 Indians have died in this only came, just a short while ago. The official confirmation, though, of course, it was something that was feared. But yes, questions raised about the building as well. The fact that this was 6-story, it housed 160 people, at least, is what we're being told. So many questions being raised about the safety. It was owned also by an Indian there in Kuwait.
The number is more than that, but we're waiting for official details because different sources are giving different numbers. There were 160 probably at that time, but there were some more being housed in that building who were at work or not in the building. The other thing is that the numbers are, when the firemen went in, many of the rooms had already, bodies were found, which was very unfortunate, and they could not be helped or resuscitated with any treatment. So it was really a sad sight, as I am told.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Riven D'Souza, for joining us with all the latest news there from Kuwait after this massive tragedy took place. Let's go across to Ghazali now for more. And Ghazali, we know that there's going to be a meeting today at the Prime Minister's residence. Also, the MOS External Affairs will be leaving for Kuwait later tonight.
Yeah, a high-level meeting has been called at Prime Minister's residence, where not only the MOS External Affairs Ministry, but also senior officials of the External Affairs Ministry will attend the meeting with Prime Minister to take a stock of the situation back there in Kuwait. Because MOS Minister of State Kirti Vardhan Singh will be traveling to Kuwait after this meeting. He'll board a late-night flight and go there to assist those who have died and also those who are injured and are admitted in the hospital. For those who have died, their mortal remains have to be repatriated, and for that is smooth repatriation. A Minister of State for External Affairs Ministry has been asked to travel to Kuwait. What we also know right now is that 40 Indians have been killed. That data has come from the External Affairs Ministry, and around more than 30 are still injured. And we also know that there are other people from with other nationalities who are also injured. So this was a 6-story building, and perhaps more than 160 people were staying there. The Ministry of Interior Affairs there in Kuwait has also asked for strict action against the one who owns the building, the janitor, the one who was perhaps preparing food, and after which the building caught fire, and also whosoever was responsible for violating the fire safety norms for the building. So the local authorities are also monitoring, probing that angle. Meanwhile, the Indian ambassador in Kuwait is also coordinating with the relief work as well as the process of identifying those who have lost their life, and has also issued a helpline number for people back here in India, because mostly out of the casualty of what we have heard is that as of now 49 people have been killed. Out of those, 40 are Indians. So updated figure is, and the information has yet to be released from the Indian embassy there in Kuwait, but this is what the latest we have picked up.
All right, Ghazali, so key meeting there at the Prime Minister's residence. Also, the helpline number being released. As you can imagine, many anxious families here in India. Thanks so much for joining us there with the latest. Now, here's a look at what some of the victims, some of those who were lucky enough to escape, what they had to say. Many of them escaped with their lives.
कोई तकलीफ वगैरह भैया अभी आपको?
तकलीफ कोई नहीं है, पहले से बेटर है।
अच्छा,
ठीक है,
अच्छा लग रहा है। अपने घर पे बात हुई आपके?
जी, बात हो रही है।
सब लोग सबको इत्मीनान दे दिए, तसल्ली दे दिए? अच्छा अच्छा। कंपनी के आदमी आए थे आपसे पूछने के लिए?
हाँ, कंपनी के आदमी आते हैं।
ओके, अपना ख्याल रखिए भाई, और कोई परेशानी की बात नहीं है। मिनिस्ट्री यहाँ पे बहुत ख्याल करती है, आप भी अपना ख्याल रखें, है ना? थैंक यू वेरी मच। थैंक यू वेरी मच। आप कहाँ से? नेपाल से हैं? हाँ, नेपाल से हैं। कैसा लग रहा है अभी?
थोड़ा अच्छा लग रहा है।
अच्छा लग रहा है। कोई परेशानी?
नहीं, कोई परेशानी नहीं।
ओके, अपने घर में बात की आपने अपनी फैमिली से? इंडिया में, बांग्लादेश में। आप कहाँ पे? आप नेपाल के हैं? नेपाल के, ये नेपाल से हैं। ये भी कंपनी में काम करते थे। ये कितने बजे हादसा हुआ था भाई?
वो 4:30 बजे से।
4:30 बजे। फिर आपने कैसे बचे आप?
हम तो सुबह आदमी लोग जो हल्ला कर रहा था रोड पे, इसलिए हम जाएगा। बाद में हम लोग शीशे खोल के बाद में वो
जंप किया?
जंप नहीं किया, हाँ। वो केबल तार था, हाँ। उसमें बांध के।
अच्छा, केबल तार। अच्छा, केबल तार से बाहर नीचे उतरे? ओहो,
वो 3 आदमी जैसे उतरा उसमें। अच्छा, 4 आदमी जैसे।
अच्छा अच्छा।
और दूसरा रूम का आदमी इधर आके उतरा।
All right, so that man managed to escape with the help of a cable wire. We'll continue to track the developments in Kuwait. In other news now, TDP chief and Chandrababu Naidu took oath as Andhra Pradesh chief minister for the 4th time after his party scored a thumping win in the assembly polls held alongside the general elections. 24 members of his cabinet also took oath, and there's 17 first-timers who are ministers in this new government. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chandrababu Naidu also shared a special moment on stage when the Prime Minister gave him a tight hug.
Nara Chandrababu Naidu ane nenu కొనిదల పవన్ కళ్యాణ్ అనే నేను శాసనం ద్వారా నిర్మితమైన
శ్రీ నారా చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారు శ్రీ పవన్ కళ్యాణ్ గారు
Prime Minister Narendra Modi with newly sworn in Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Nara Chandrababu Naidu and the man who would be his deputy Pavan Kalyan. The power star requesting the PM for a meeting with his brother megastar Chiranjeevi.
Mana megastar Chiranjeevi.
Megastar, power star, superstar Talaiva Rajnikant Garini.
There was a superstar Rajnikant too, as also a galaxy of union ministers, Amit Shah, JP Nadda, Nitin Gadkari, Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde and several others. The optics conveying how the NDA government led by Chandrababu Naidu in the state would work with the NDA government at the centre.
Andhra Pradesh would hope that the show of bonhomie would extend beyond the optics to real help for the state that is arguably in dire straits financially and is hoping to conquer many new milestones armed with the blessings and mandate by the people.
Nara Chandrababu Naidu ane nenu
Chandrababu Naidu 4.0, with the 74-year-old taking oath for the fourth time as Chief Minister, includes 17 first-time ministers in the 25-member cabinet.
కొనిదల పవన్ కళ్యాణ్ అనే నేను
with 3 ministers from the Janasena
Satyakumar Yadav ane nenu
and Satyakumar Yadav from the BJP.
Nara Lokesh ane nenu
Nara Lokesh, who became minister the last time through the MLC route, is seen to have come of age as a politician after his 3,000-kilometer Yuvagalam Padayatra across the state. The team includes 3 women and a minister from the minority Muslim community. There are 5 Kammas, 4 Kapus, 3 Reddys, 8 BC, 1 Vaisya, 2 SC and 1 ST community representative. Chandrababu Naidu has said the historic mandate is a responsibility and his first priority would be to build the state capital at Amravati.
ప్రజలు గెలిచారు రాష్ట్రాన్ని నిలబెట్టే బాధ్యత ఇక్కడుండే శాసన సభ్యులపైన మనందరిపైన ఉంది ఈ విషయం మనం గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది
Chandrababu Naidu has made it clear that Pavan Kalyan will be his deputy, the number 2 in his cabinet. Administratively, he would hope that the 17 new ministers will bring new energy, new ideas and innovative thinking to complement the experience of the seniors. Politically, having a new team can also make it easier and smoother for Lokesh to be elevated to the top eventually. With Aishwarya Jain in Vijayawada, with camera person Nagraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
And Mohan Majhi, the first BJP Chief Minister in Odisha, took oath with his 2 deputies, KV Singhdeo and Pravati Parida, this evening in a grand ceremony that announced the party's arrival in the eastern state. The event was also attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well as a host of union ministers and other dignitaries.
Mohan Majhi,
52-year-old Mohan Majhi, a well-known tribal face in Odisha politics, now taking the top job in the state. Sworn in by Odisha Governor Rahubhar Das in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi as the BJP forms a government in Odisha for the first time on its own.
चरंक नाम रे शपथ करूअछि जे मो विधि द्वारा प्रतिष्ठित भारतर संविधान प्रति श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखिबी.
Along with Mohan Majhi, 2 deputy chief ministers were sworn in as well. While KV Singhdeo is a 6th-term MLA who has served as a minister earlier, Pratibha Parida is the first-time MLA. Suresh Pujari, another front-runner for the CM post, also took oath as cabinet minister. Altogether, 8 cabinet ministers and 5 ministers of the state independent charge took oath in the ceremony.
I would like to say one thing. You'll see governance. When we were in the alliance with Naveen Babu,
at that point of time also, the BJP, the departments held by the BJP ministers delivered. And thereafter, governance came to a total standstill. It was only bureaucratic governance. Now you'll see the true governance in the literal sense.
यहाँ पे पहली बार हमारी सरकार आई है, जो सीएम जो पीएम आके यहाँ पे प्रधानमंत्री आके बोल के गए थे और उड़िया लोगों ने उनके ऊपर भरोसा करके बीजेपी को वोट दिए थे। प्रधानमंत्री जी की एक एक वादा को हम उड़िया लोगों के लिए काम पे लाएंगे, पूरा करेंगे।
With the grand swearing-in ceremony, the BJP made a political point. With Union Home Minister Amit Shah, Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, BJP President JP Nadda and several others BJP Chief Ministers all attending the event. And in a glimpse of political courtesy, this is rarely seen. Former Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik, who met the new Chief Minister at his residence earlier, also attended the swearing-in ceremony.
The BJP in Odisha pulled off a high-profile swearing-in ceremony with the Prime Minister and top ministers from the Union government present as Odisha and the BJP embark on running the state with a new government and a new chief minister. The challenges for the BJP government are clear, but if the swearing-in ceremony was a hint of the things to come, then it's very clear that the BJP will reach out to as many people, constituencies and regions it can when it comes to running the state. Because Naveen Patnaik is someone who's been in office for 24 years, and for them to go beyond his legacy will be a challenging task. With camera person GD Shankar in Bhubaneswar, Odisha, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
News from the capital now, and as Delhi and Haryana spar over the water crisis, today the Supreme Court came down heavily on the Delhi government over the tanker mafia and alleged water wastage, asking what measures have you taken against them. NDTV's Ishika Verma visited the Munnak Canal, which provides water to the capital, and found a tanker illegally filling water.
As Delhi's water crisis deepens in this harsh summer, the 102-kilometer-long Munnak Canal from Haryana to Delhi, the main source of drinking water to the national capital, has become the biggest bone of contention between the two states and between the BJP and Delhi's AAP government. The BJP has accused the AAP government of failing to stop pilferage from the canal, while the Delhi LG has said as much as 1/5 of Delhi's water is being stolen from the canal within the boundaries of the capital. The Aam Aadmi Party has refuted the allegations and said the Haryana government is deliberately withholding water for Delhi. At Ground Zero, the NDTV team found this tanker, marked with Delhi Jal Board initials, drawing water from the canal. Something a legitimate DGP tanker is not supposed to do.
The Delhi BJP, in fact, has also raised questions on the Delhi government. In fact, they have gone on to say that the tankers that are present here, and we are showing you in our very frame, you can see the tankers that are present here, the private tankers that are present here. The BJP alleges that they are in fact taking water, stealing water from here, and that is why the water scarcity is only deepening here.
This as the Supreme Court asked tough questions to the AAP government, asking what they were doing to crack down on the tanker mafia in the capital. Earlier today, Delhi Water Minister Atishi said that the government would ensure zero water was wasted from leakages in the capital.
It is the residents of Delhi who continue to be on the suffering end, and they are still waiting for all the stakeholders to come together and take action and provide them with a concrete solution that could end this crisis. Now with camera person Xavier, this is Ishika Verma for NDTV.
News from Jammu and Kashmir, where there have been 3 terror attacks in 3 days. A huge worry for authorities and security forces after the successful Lok Sabha elections that saw a record turnout. Today, 2 terrorists who had opened fire in a village in Jammu and Kashmir's Kathua late last night were killed in an encounter. A paramilitary soldier was also killed in action during the exchange of fire, Nazir reports.
3 attacks in 3 days as terror spreads its shadow across the Jammu region. 2 days after an attack on a bus carrying Mata Vaishno Devi Yatris in Riyasi, terrorists struck in Kathua and Doda districts, killing 1 security force personnel and injuring 6 others. After a 15-hour-long standoff in Hiranagar area of Kathua, 2 terrorists were killed. Police said villagers raised an alarm after terrorists asked for water from several houses who shut their doors.
ये नया इन्फिल्ट्रेटेड ग्रुप है जिसमें कि जिस इस इलाके में आया है और ज़्यादा आतंकवादियों के छिपे होने की भी संभावना है। 2 आतंकवादियों को मार गिराया गया है और अभी सर्च ऑपरेशन इलाके में चल रहा है।
From the site of encounter, police have recovered a US-made M4 carbine. A similar weapon were used in Yatri's bus attack in which 9 pilgrims were killed and 33 were injured. Hours after Kathua incident, terrorists targeted an army camp in Doda district. 5 soldiers and special police officer were injured. Terrorists appear to have managed to escape even as a massive cordon and search operation has been launched in the area. Amid spike in attacks, former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Farooq Abdullah has called for talks with Pakistan to end terrorism.
Unfortunately, we still have problem with our neighbor. And the problem with neighbor will not be solved by military action. Unless we talk to our neighbors, we will not be able to solve the problem that we have here. Because these terrorists are coming over the border and they continue to come. Whichever government tomorrow is in here, we'll have to still face the same thing. And innocent people die.
Since 2021, Jammu region, particularly Poonch and Rajouri districts have witnessed some of the major terrorist attacks. 39 soldiers and 20 civilians have been killed in these attacks.
Jammu is under attack and militancy is spreading across the region. Back-to-back attacks has not only surprised security structure, it also indicates larger design. Besides a major security challenge, police say attacks are aimed at communalizing situation in a place which has composite population. In Srinagar, Nazir Hussain, 5.
3 days, 3 terror attacks in Jammu and Kashmir. The opposition is targeting the Prime Minister. Rahul Gandhi said attacked the Prime Minister over no action. He put on social media that Narendra Modi is busy responding to congratulatory messages. And as these attacks have taken place and devotees even have been brutally killed. There have been 3 separate terror incidents in Riyasi, Kathua and Doda in the last 3 days, but the Prime Minister is still busy celebrating. Now, the latest on the murder of a man in Karnataka that has shaken up the Kannada film industry, with the leading man Darshan embroiled in it. A top actor. Was the actor present at the scene of the crime? That is the question the police are trying to get to the bottom of. When 33-year-old Renuka Swamy was killed, the Bengaluru police have been busy interrogating the star and his girlfriend, actor Pavitra Gowda, while conducting spot inquests. In fact, the allegation is that the man was sending obscene messages to Pavitra Gowda that led to his murder. And with that, time for us to slip into a short break. More news updates on the other side. Stay with us.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
A massive massive fire in a residential building in Kuwait. 40 Indians dead, 30 people have been injured. New chief ministers take charge in Andhra Pradesh and Odisha. Chandrababu Naidu back as chief minister for a fourth time. Odisha gets its first BJP chief minister in Mohan Majhi. As Delhi, Haryana spar over the water crisis in the capital, NDTV finds a tanker illegally filling water at the key canal from Haryana to Delhi. In Jammu and Kashmir, 3 terror attacks in 3 days. 2 terrorists have been killed in an overnight encounter. Rahul Gandhi hits out, says 3 terror acts. Prime Minister busy celebrating.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Let me give you a quick recap and let's discuss about how Sony used some brilliant marketing back in the 90s for its PlayStation. See, आज PlayStation बहुत ज़्यादा popular है, ये हम सभी जानते हैं. Almost globally it's very popular. Games हों या consoles हों, काफ़ी ज़्यादा लोग इनको use करते हैं. But back in the days, back in the 90s, while Sony was trying to establish its PlayStation lineup, काफ़ी interesting marketing को Sony ने use किया था. जी हाँ, I'm talking about the very special scratch and sniff labels from the real driving simulator और FIFA गेम. और ये जो गेम की डिस्क्स मिलती थी, इनके ऊपर एक लेबल हुआ करता था जिसको जब आप स्क्रैच करके स्निफ करेंगे, यू वुड फील योरसेल्फ टू बी इन दैट एक्शन. मतलब जो रियल ड्राइविंग सिमुलेटर गेम था, उसमें जब आप स्क्रैच करके स्निफ करते थे, यू वुड एक्सपीरियंस द सेंट ऑफ अ पिट स्टॉप. और फीफा में यू वुड एक्सपीरियंस द सेंट ऑफ अ फुटबॉल फील्ड. क्या क्रेजी मार्केटिंग थी, बट ज़्यादा डिटेल में इसको नहीं किया गया था. बट देन अगेन, यू नो, विद इन अ फ्यू ईयर्स ऑफ इट्स लॉन्च, फाइनली अभी ग्लोबल स्केल पे प्लेस्टेशन इज रियली पॉपुलर.
Hello and welcome. We are in Rome, Italy, on our way to Apulia in the south of Italy, where the G7 summit is going to be held. The Prime Minister will be here tomorrow. It's his first international visit since the NDA-3 government came into power. Why is G7 important? Because it is a collection of the world's most powerful nations. India now is in fact got a bigger economy than 3 of those nations. Italy, the host, Canada and also France. What are the key issues over here? Why is it important for India to be attending? Join me, Vishnu Shom, for very special programming right here on NDTV 24/7.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual.
This is The Last Word and I'm Maria Shakil. Mahayuti suffered losses in the Lok Sabha polls, and after that, Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde has said that this was because of the opposition's claim that the constitution would be amended and caste-based reservation done away with if the BJP returned to power. Remember, the BJP had that slogan of 400 Par, which now the Chief Minister of Maharashtra says created misconceptions in people's mind. This is coming 2 days after the NCP refused to join the Modi Council of Ministers, saying they were offered the MOS berth instead of a cabinet. With the assembly elections just 3 months away, The Mahavikas Aghadi partners too are flexing their muscles, holding unilateral meetings which are being seen as creating some kind of discontent. What exactly is the truth? What's really is happening in Maharashtra? A quick wrap and then I bring in the newsmaker.
Maharashtra's pot boiler continues to simmer after the Lok Sabha results of the 48 seats in the state. The focus now is on the assembly polls later this year. Shiva Sena UBT was in a huddle at the Sena Bhavan with Uddhav and all leaders in attendance. All is not well in the Mahavikas Aghadi camp. Congress has expressed displeasure over Uddhav Thackeray's Shiva Sena unilaterally announcing candidates for the upcoming Legislative Council election. But Uddhav Sena maintains that there is no dispute and that they are working together for the assembly elections.
आज की बैठक अहम इसलिए थी कि शिवसेना जो 288 विधानसभा के कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी इस महाराष्ट्र में है, 288 जगह के लिए शिवसेना के संपर्क के लिए प्रमुख शिवसेना ने अपॉइंट किए हैं, क्योंकि आने वाले समय विधानसभा जो इलेक्शन होने जा रहा है उसमें तैयारी हमारी अच्छी तरीके से पूरे 288 कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी में होनी चाहिए। हम तो अलायंस से लड़ने वाले हैं, लेकिन ताकत हमारे हर जगह होनी चाहिए, इस हेतु से मीटिंग हुई।
On the other side, NCP was in damage control mode over what it termed as the opposition's false narrative of internal disputes.
परवाच्या दिवशी आमदारांची बैठक झाली, सगळे आमदार उपस्थित होते. डॉक्टर शेंगणे नव्हते कारण त्यांच्या सख्या चुलती वारल्या होत्या, त्यावेळी नव्हते, पण कारच्या वर्धापन दिनाच्या निमित्ताने होते. डॉक्टर बाबा आत्राम यांचं ऑपरेशन त्या ठिकाणी झालेलं होतं. सुनील अण्णा बनसोड सुद्धा घेऊन गेलेले होते, पण केवळ मुद्दाम होऊनच काहीतरी एक नॅरेटिव्ह सेट करण्याचा प्रयत्न केला जातोय.
But clearly, all is not well in NDA alliance in Maharashtra. After losing to the opposition MVA, discontent and disappointment have been escalating among allies. Ajit Pawar-led NCP secured only 1 seat out of 4. The party demanded a cabinet berth but was denied.
I did have a reservation to accept a MOS independent charge as it would be for me personally coming down or demotion.
In contrast, the Sena won 7 out of 15 seats. Eknath Shinde too sought a cabinet berth and 2 MOS positions, but was just given 1 MOS berth.
मैं प्रतापराव गणपतराव जाधव ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगा.
Meanwhile, rumblings about Ajit Pawar NCP and Shinde Sena MLAs being in touch with MVA is growing stronger. There were also rumors of Uddhav Thackeray joining the NDA, which was rubbished by MVA leaders.
उद्धव ठाकरे जो स्टेज पे बोलते हैं वही काम करते हैं, उसी दिशा से काम करते हैं. मुझे पूरा यकीन है कि वो महाविकास आघाड़ी के साथ ही रहेंगे और उनके नेतृत्व में ही हमारी महाराष्ट्र की महाविकास आघाड़ी आगे बढ़ेगी.
The Mahayuti too has rubbish talks of their MLAs being in touch with the other camp.
आणि जे सातत्याने बातम्या देण्याचा प्रयत्न मीडियामध्ये आम्ही पाहतोय की कोणतरी आमचे विरोधक सांगतात की ह्यांनी संपर्क साधला, त्यांनी संपर्क साधला, असं काही झालेलं नाहीये. सगळे आमदार राष्ट्रवादी काँग्रेस पक्षाचे आमच्याबरोबर आहेत.
MVA has clearly come out stronger post Lok Sabha election despite splits and realignments that it faced. On the other hand, power struggle in Mahayuti continues. The alliance needs to iron out differences ahead of assembly elections. Otherwise, similar problems like seat realignment, seat issues and coordination problems will continue to haunt them and affect their performance in assembly elections as well. With video journalist Sunil, this is Radhika Ramaswamy for NDTV Mumbai.
And let me go straight to senior Congress leader and former Maharashtra Chief Minister Prithvi Raj Chavan, who's joining us live. Mr. Chavan, really appreciate your time here on NDTV. Despite this emphatic victory of Mahavikas Aghadi in these elections, what appears at the moment is some kind of discontent, or should I say simmering discontent, over what is being seen as unilateral decisions by your alliance partner Shiva Sena, Uddhav Thackeray.
No, don't read too much into it. You see, after the election, Uddhavji and I think some senior colleagues went to London. I mean, we can't fault them for that. And therefore, there was some difficulty in coordinating it, but it's been sorted out immediately. there is no discontent in Mahavikas Aghadi. We have registered an emphatic victory, which we expected to get. 1 or 2 seats we lost. I think we lost Konkan Belt, which we'll have to introspect. Shiv Sena will have to introspect. There is absolutely no rumbling at all. I mean, you saw recently there was some poll done by one television channel, which has shown Mahavikas Aghadi to be clearly leading the Vidhan Sabha election. We will form the government. We are in quite an upbeat mood. And on the other hand, you know what is happening in the Mahayuti, but I don't want to talk about that. There is a government in Delhi, and we are going to play a role of a principal opposition party, or the India Alliance will play the role of a strong opposition party in Delhi. We'll have a leader of opposition for the first time. And I think we are prepared to contest the assembly elections, which happen in October. That is Haryana, Maharashtra, 2 major states.
Okay.
In
Mr.
Maharashtra,
Chavan,
we will contest as a Mahavikas Aghadi.
okay, since you are very clear that whatever differences you may have will be ironed out in coming few days, because 3 months down the line, you have the crucial assembly elections in Maharashtra. And given the kind of numbers that you have won this time around in Lok Sabha, I'm sure you're hoping to replicate or win similar numbers in assembly and form the government. But the larger question is also, is there some sense that because the Congress had the best strike rate among the alliance partners, better than Uddhav Thackeray, Shiv Sena, or Sharad Pawar, NCP, you should be getting more seats to contest?
Well, technically, Sharad Pawar's Shiv Sena, Sharad Pawar's NCP had a slightly better strike rate than us. They got 8 out of 10. We got 13 out of 17 officially, then 1 independent had joined us. So both strike rate of NCP, Sharad Pawar group and us were more or less similar. But we got highest number of seats. We are the largest party in the Lok Sabha among the opposition camp and MVA camp. So we're happy about it. We have scored victories in 150 segments in Maharashtra, roughly. And so that will translate into victories in Vidhan Sabha also. We will get a clear majority for the MVA. Now, of course, the seat sharing talks within the MVA is not going to be easy. We all realize that it's going to be, quite a uphill task for us. But we hope to complete it by July end.
Okay.
And I think just like in Lok Sabha, Congress party took a sort of backward street, a couple of seats which we wanted to contest. We could not contest them. But I think this time, since we are the largest partner now, and we know the segments that we have won, Shiv Sena has won some segments, NCP, Sharad Pawar has won some segments. So those segments perhaps will lay claim to them.
Okay, so you are essentially saying, Mr. Chavan, that because of Congress party's performance overall in these Lok Sabha elections, the rules of engagement for the assembly elections will be different. You'll not be, playing the role of a junior partner that you did in Maharashtra?
Well, let's not get into numbers of junior, senior, bada bhai, chota bhai talk. I mean, we will select the constituencies where a component to the MVA has a good candidate. So winning candidate is the primary criteria. At the same time, each party wants to increase its strength. There's nothing wrong in that. But that's the beauty of coalition politics. I think we will definitely do that. I'm sure we'll perform well. In this election, we performed well. Our coordination between the 3 partners was very good. But really, we must thank Mr. Modi. It is more than our victory. It's the defeat of Mr. Modi, because the way he handled the agriculture crisis, the economy is in shambles, the unemployment, the mahangai, of course, the Samvidhan Bachao. They saved the constitution, really rhymed with the people. And the mess that they made about the Maratha reservation, particularly Mr. Devendra Fadnis, he had to pay a price for that. But of course, there are a lot of learnings from the Lok Sabha election. We'll introspect, although we have done well, we'll introspect and find out what more we could have done. And the ultimate objective is to win the Maharashtra Assembly.
Okay. Before I let you go, Mr. Chavan, will the Mahavikas Aghadi be entering this election with a face? Will you be announcing the chief ministerial face before you go into the elections?
Absolutely not. I don't think we'll do that. The time-honored formula in Maharashtra whichever party gets the highest number of MLAs get the chief minister's post. Now, this is the three-party alliance, so perhaps it could be 1 or 2 deputy CMs, and then portfolio sharing will happen. Because let me tell you, first time in Maharashtra, 3 parties in 2 alliances have fought each other. We normally used to fight 2 parties in each alliance, Congress and NCP on one side, and Shiv Sena and BJP on the other side. Now there are 3 parties. So alliance talks, seat sharing talks are not that easy as before. But we'll sort it out because we know that because 3 of us fought together, we won the Lok Sabha election decisively.
All
I
right.
think the same formula.
All right, Prithvi Rachavanji, thank you so much for joining us.
Welcome.
And setting the record straight, I would say, on top of the show here on NDTV. Let me bring in my guests now. Brij Mohan Srivastav is the national spokesperson of NCP, Ajit Pawar faction. Asif Bamla, spokesperson of the BJP Maharashtra. Sanjay Gupta, leader of Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray faction. I'm going to begin with you, Asif Bamla. You know, there is lots happening in Mahayuti, but I think it's your party which has much to explain because, you know, this entire slogan of 400 Par was yours.
Well, it's nothing wrong to have a bar set for yourself, a higher end bar that we will cross this mark, and if at all we have not been able to cross that mark, even the Congress themselves said that we are going to go more than 200. They couldn't even cross 100, but nobody's questioning them. It is everybody who is questioning us. See, we are when a student appears for an examination, he expects 90% results. But if he has got distinction, people are not welcoming that distinction. But people who have got just 36% marks,
Okay.
they have been lauded to the glory.
Okay, let me ask Brij Mohan Srivastav because,
let
you
me
know,
rebut 2 minutes.
Mr. Shinde and so
That's not how it
is...
works. You see, you have to take the demographics of the election. Every election is different. Lok Sabha is different. In Assembly, it's going to be different. Now you tell me, in 2019, in all the 5 states, BJP fell very badly, miserably. But in Lok Sabha elections, we swept the polls in the last Lok Sabha
So let me
election.
ask Brij Mohan Srivastav. Brij Mohan Srivastav, we are being told, and in fact the NCP has gone on record to say, the Sharad Pawar NCP, that several of the Ajit Pawar MLAs and those who are seen as leaders close to him are in touch with Sharad Pawar ji. So is that a sense that there could be some more, realignments before the elections? Are you not able to keep your house in order?
It's simply a rumor. Any MLA is not in touch of any other party leaders. We are having our meetings with the MLAs. MLAs are meeting and they are coming to meet our leaders in the Maharashtra. So I think it's a simply rumor. There is no realignment with any other faction.
No, but then what is the need of a photo opportunity like this, where you have Shinde on the driving seat and the 2 deputy chief ministers behind him?
So what wrong is in it? Mr. Shinde is working well and we are working with him. So I personally feel there is no difference between the Devendra Fadnavis Sahab, Eknath Shinde Sahab and Ajit Dada
Okay, so there are no differences. And despite that, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis offered to resign. He said that he takes the responsibility of the poor performance of the BJP. And then despite that...
That is the introspection that the BJP...
The introspection, fine. So, Sanjay Gupta, the introspection is happening on the other side. You guys don't seem to be introspecting at all. संजय गुप्ता जी
जी क्या मैंने सुना नहीं आपकी बात
जी मेरा कहना है कि दूसरे तरफ बहुत सारे विचार हो रहा है आप लोग में भी कुछ विचार हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा
बिल्कुल विचार हो रहा है विचार तो ये रहेगा क्योंकि एक बात तो क्लियर कर दी जनता ने कि भले कोई किसी की पार्टी का नामो निशान छीन ले मगर लोग भावनाओं से पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के साथ जुड़ते हैं और सही और गलत ये भगवान भी देखता है जो लोग ज्यादा अपने आप को दिखाने की कोशिश करते हैं और ज्यादा बड़े बोल बोलते हैं वो लोग अयोध्या में भी हार जाते हैं प्रभु श्री राम को भी ये पसंद नहीं आया तो ये बात उनको समझने की जरूरत है और विद्रोही जो होते हैं वो 2 तरह के होते हैं एक तो वो होते हैं जो पार्टी से या अपने साथियों से अलग हो जाते हैं, और एक वो लोग होते हैं जो साथ रहते हुए भी अपना ही महसूस करवाते हैं मगर विद्रोह करते रहते हैं। तो अभी तो जो हमें पता चला, उन विद्रोहियों का पता चला जो अलग हो गए। अभी बहुत से विद्रोही ऐसे भी हैं जो हमारे साथ ही हैं और उनको भी अभी सही से
नहीं। तो संजय गुप्ता जी, जो आपके विरोधी हैं, जो एकनाथ शिंदे जी के साथ चले गए, क्या वो वापस आएंगे? और आपके लिए आपने क्या शिवसेना को मिलाने का एक जो रास्ता है, दरवाजा वो खुला हुआ है कि जो लोग गए हैं उधर वो वापस आ सके?
देखिए, वापिस आने ना आने का सिर्फ एक ही रास्ता होता है कि महाराष्ट्र की जनता किसको चाहती है, महाराष्ट्र की जनता किसको सम्मान देती है। तो महाराष्ट्र की जनता ने बता दिया कि वो ठाकरे परिवार का सम्मान करती है और उनके अलायंस को वो जीत मिली। जो सीटें बीजेपी के पास और हमारे अलायंस के पास 4142 आती थी, आज उनके पास कितनी आई है, ये इस बात का प्रमाण है। मैं बात उन विद्रोहियों की कर रहा हूँ जो विद्रोही चले तो गए, मगर कुछ विद्रोही आज भी पार्टी के अंदर रहते हुए जो जुड़े हुए हैं, जो उनको सपोर्ट करते हैं, पता नहीं चलता। जब वो भी बाहर हो जाएंगे तो एक नया समीकरण निकल के आएगा।
Okay, Asif Bamla, the BJP in this entire alliance actually fought on the maximum number of seats. Could it have been more democratic in terms, or perhaps more adjusting with regards to the regional players?
You see, let me submit you
Shinde
that
faction's strike rate is much better than yours.
If you ask me, in the city of Mumbai, we were 2 lakh votes less than your MVA. If you ask me, and if you ask me the percentage of votes also, of course, we have fallen. 1.5 percentage votes have totally reduced overall of the Bharatiya Janata Party. But you see, there are many issues to that. Of course, the Maratha Arakshan was one of the issues that was a spoiler for us. Then again, let me tell you, against all odds, still we are united. Now you see what is happening with the Shiv Sena. They're already their own alliance partners, without even speaking to each other, have already announced their names. They're not even bothered about this. We at least have our house in order. We have no problems whatsoever in and amongst them ourselves. And what are you talking about us? In their own election, in the Lok Sabha, their own Congress candidate rebelled and he fought against their own Shiv Sena official candidate.
Okay, let Sanjay Gupta respond. Sanjay Gupta ji, iska jawab dein.
And again, उनको कांग्रेस ने वापस ले लिया. तब शिवसेना ने कोई आवाज नहीं उठाई. तब नैतिकता कहाँ गई आपकी? आप लोग को तो तब उठकर बाहर आ जाना चाहिए.
ठीक है.
अरे भाई,
आसिफ बांगला जी, आपने बोल दिया.
उम्मीदवार हार गए हैं.
चलिए आगे भी लोगों की आवाज सुन ले. हाँ, चलिए बोलिए संजय गुप्ता जी.
कुछ लोग हार करके भी नहीं हार मानते और सत्ता से बाहर हो जाने के बाद
केंद्र में सरकार हमारी है. आप लोग नहीं मानने तैयार हो.
बात कर रहा हूँ.
आप लोग ये मानने नहीं तैयार हो कि हमारी सरकार आ चुकी है और हमारे मंत्रालयों के मंत्री भी काम कर रहे हैं. आप लोग
आसिफ बामला, please be patient. Asif Bamla, you got your chance to speak. Let him speak now, please. Sanjay Gupta, go ahead.
देखिए, नंबर, कभी नंबरों की बात करते हैं, कभी वोट और परसेंटेज की बात करते हैं, मगर
इनका जवाब दीजिए ना. आपकी के साथ बगावत हुई जो उसका जवाब दीजिए ना. महाराष्ट्र में एक सीट जिसके कारण आपकी सेना हारी,
उसका जवाब दे तो दिया महाराष्ट्र की जनता ने आपको.
अरे वो
क्या उसके बाद
हमें मिल गया. हम माने, हमने बड़े बहादुरी से
आपका तो नहीं है
किया कि लोगों का कॉल आपके हित में है, लेकिन हर चीज खत्म नहीं, यहाँ नहीं होती है. अभी बाकी एक पिक्चर अभी बाकी है. चिंता न करें, आप देखोगे.
ज्यादा ऊंचे बोल और बार-बार बोलने के कारण आज आप
उछल आप लोग रहे. उछल आप लोग रहे. आप लोग को लग रहा है कि विधानसभा भी जीत गए आप, लेकिन आप ही का ये जीत और अहंकार जो है ना, आपका ये जीत और अहंकार आपको इस चुनाव में आपको उसका भोगना पड़ेगा. आप समझ लीजिए, ये जो आप लोग जो हवे में है ना इस चीज के,
क्या खा के आए हो, कौन सी गोली खा के आए हो?
अब हमने हार मानी, हमने हार को बड़े
बोलना है, किसने नहीं बोलना है, इसका ध्यान भी रख रहे आप.
हमने एक्सेप्ट किया जनता का कॉल.
Let's shift focus to another spokesperson who has been extremely, who's not engaging in this kind of tutu meme. Brij Mohan ji, the question certainly is that you fought on the least number of seats in this alliance, and your strike rate, of course, wasn't the best. So you have just won one MP. But then this expectations that you should be accommodated in the central government as a cabinet minister may be misplaced, right?
No, no, nothing like that, Maria ji. Actually, our party has decided to send our National Working President, Shri Praful Patel ji, for the cabinet. And because he worked as a senior cabinet minister in the previous governments, so we requested the NDA alliance that we want have a berth as a cabinet minister, because at the time we are not having that much number.
I know about that logic. So let's wait how really these multiple moving pieces actually settle in. Thank you so much for joining us, Brij Mohan Srivastava, Asif Bamla, Sanjay Gupta. Now we are being joined by Sanjay Nirupam, leader of the Shiva Sena. Sanjay Nirupam, thank you so much. Results के बाद बहुत सारी एक्टिविटीज हो रही है महाराष्ट्र में, दोनों कैंप्स में, महाविकास अघाड़ी हो या महायुति हो, इस तरह की एक्टिविटीज को क्या आप डैमेज कंट्रोल देख रहे हैं, महायुति खास करके?
ये दोनों तरह की एक्टिविटी है। एक तरफ तो अति उत्साह है, उधर शिवसेना यूबीटी जिसको हम उबाठा कहते हैं, और कांग्रेस के तरफ एक शरद पवार जी वाली जो पार्टी है उसकी तरफ एक अति उत्साह है, और निश्चित तौर पर बीजेपी, शिवसेना और अजीत पवार की जो एनसीपी है उसकी तरफ एक डैमेज कंट्रोल का एक प्लानिंग चल रहा है हमारा। तो ये एक दोनों तरफ इस तरह की स्थितियां हैं, लेकिन ये इसलिए है क्योंकि अभी 3 महीने के अंदर विधानसभा का चुनाव है। तो अगर किसी को ये लगता है कि लोकसभा का चुनाव में जो रिजल्ट है वो रिजल्ट रिपीट होने जा रहा है, तो ये बहुत बड़ी गलतफहमी होगी। जो जीता है वो अगला इलेक्शन जीत जाएगा, ऐसा भी नहीं, और जो हारा है अगला इलेक्शन वो हार जाएगा, ऐसा भी नहीं। लेकिन दोनों पक्ष को एक एफर्ट करना पड़ेगा। लोकसभा चुनाव जो था वो प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी को तीसरी बार प्रधानमंत्री बनाने के प्रश्न पर था, तो कोई एक पक्ष चाह रहा था बनाना है, दूसरा पक्ष आगे नहीं बनने देना है। लेकिन जो विधानसभा चुनाव होंगे उसमें नरेंद्र मोदी मुद्दा नहीं रहेंगे, उसमें निश्चित तौर पर महाराष्ट्र के मुद्दा रहेंगे, और महाराष्ट्र के मुद्दों के अलावा जो एक यहाँ का जो पॉलिटिकल जो इक्वेशन है, जो समीकरण है, जो पिछले 2-2.5 वर्षों में बहुत तेजी से बदला है, दो पार्टियों में एक जबरदस्त फूट पड़ी, और दोनों पार्टियों के जो ग्रास रूट के लीडर्स थे वो अपने अपने नेताओं के खिलाफ विद्रोह करके भारतीय जनता पार्टी के साथ आ गए, और उसके बाद एक सरकार बनती है। तो निश्चित तौर पर उधर जो बाठा की तरफ इस प्रकार का एक प्रचार किया गया कि भाई ये हमारे ऊपर अन्याय हुआ, अत्याचार हुआ, हमको सिंपैथी मिलनी चाहिए, और लोगों के अंदर एक गुस्सा पैदा किया गया। उधर शरद पवार जी ने भी कहा कि हमारी पार्टी को तोड़ दिया गया, हमारा सिंबल ले लिया गया, उनमें भी एक लोगों में अपने प्रति सहानुभूति पैदा करने की कोशिश। लेकिन ये गुस्सा, सहानुभूति बार बार नहीं मिलती। अगर ये गुस्सा था और गुस्सा निकला लोकसभा चुनाव में जो कि हमारे खिलाफ था, तो वो अगली बार भी ये गुस्सा रहेगा, इसकी गारंटी नहीं।
Okay, so you are saying essentially that the anger which was sensed during the Lok Sabha elections will not be taken forward perhaps when the assembly elections happen 3 months down the line. Sanjay Nirupam, my last question to you, is there a sense that perhaps the BJP overplayed its cards, and, you know, because one sense that people did talk about was that it tried to break parties, and that proved to be counterproductive. Will it also play out in assembly elections?
देखिए, कोई भी पार्टी किसी भी पार्टी को तोड़ती नहीं है। ये जो एक गलतफहमी है, पहले उसको दूर कर देना चाहिए। भारतीय जनता पार्टी अगर शिवसेना टूटने के लिए तैयार नहीं तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी शिवसेना कैसे टूट सकती है? ये तो एकनाथ शिंदे कहीं ना कहीं उनको कसमसाहट हो रही थी उद्धव ठाकरे के नेतृत्व के अंदर। उन्हें कहीं ना कहीं लग रहा था कि उद्धव ठाकरे उनकी योग्यता के हिसाब से उनको मौका नहीं दे रहे, इसलिए वो एक विद्रोही मूड में थे, और उनके साथ साथ कई विधायक भी शिवसेना के उद्धव ठाकरे के जो एक अधिनायकवाद था उसके खिलाफ निकलना चाहते थे, और वो निकल के आए। उधर शरद पवार जी की पार्टी का आप कहानी देख लीजिए। शरद पवार जी एक अपनी बेटी को स्थापित करना चाहते थे, जबकि ग्रास रूट लीडर सही मायने में अजीत पवार ही, भले तो हार गए, उनकी पत्नी हार गई, लेकिन ये पूरा महाराष्ट्र जानता है कि शरद पवार के बाद एनसीपी में अगर जो सबसे बड़ा जनाधार वाला नेता है तो वो अजीत पवार है। हाँ, लेकिन शरद पवार जी ने जिस तरीके से अपनी बेटी को थोपने की कोशिश की, उसकी वजह से अजीत पवार एक नाराज थे, और उस नाराजगी की वजह से वो पार्टी तोड़ करके बाहर आ गए। तो ये कहना कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने दोनों पार्टियों को तोड़ा है और उसकी सजा बीजेपी को मिली। मेरा मानना है कि ये थोड़ा गलत विश्लेषण होगा। हाँ, ये दोनों पार्टियां टूटने की स्थिति में थी और भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने इसका लाभ उठाया कि आइए साहब हमारे साथ सरकार बनाइए। तो ये तो कोई भी पार्टी कर सकती है भाई, कांग्रेस भी करेगी। कांग्रेस के सामने भी अगर कोई पार्टी टूटने की स्थिति में होगी तो निश्चित तौर पर कांग्रेस पार्टी चाहेगी कि वो पार्टी टूटे और उसका दूसरे जो टूटा हुआ ग्रुप है वो हमारे पास आ जाए ताकि हमारी ताकत बढ़ जाए। तो ये एक पॉलिटिक्स है और एक रियल पॉलिटिक्स है, और इस रियल पॉलिटिक्स में कोई पाप नहीं है, कोई गुनाह मुझे नहीं लगता।
All right, Sanjay Nirupam, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. With that, it's a wrap from me. I'll be joining you in just a bit on the other side with Left, Right and Center.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
Finally, I'm here. Finally, this is the time जहाँ पे मैं आपके सवालों के जवाब देता हूँ in this section, which happens to be my favorite as well, and it's called Ask TG. Let's see इस week हमारे पास में कौन से सवाल हैं। To be honest, in Android TV, we don't have any such features जहाँ पे आपको live जो सामने speech आ रहा है उसके captions screen पे दिखाई दे जाएं. We are expecting this feature to come कभी भी जब Google इसको unveil करता है, but as of now we don't have it. Samsung, however, in their latest AI TVs जो Samsung ने launch किए थे उसमें demonstrated that how using AI they were able to put some captions for the text, जो भी dialogues या जो भी speech television में उस time पे है वो सामने captions के form में visible है. Now I'm not sure कि how exactly this functions. Now मैं आपको एक और recommendation दे सकता हूँ, which is to try these bone conducting headphones or earphones, because sometimes what I have noticed is कि जहाँ पे hearing loss की हम बात करते हैं, because they use the mechanism of bone conduction, आप वहाँ से audio directly अपने inner ear के through सुन सकते हैं. So you can give them a try and then pair the earphones with the TV so that आप directly जो TV में dialogues हैं उनको आप सुन सकते हैं. But sadly, as of now, in Android TV, we don't have any such feature of live captions.
Is it safe to leave a pen drive or an SSD in the car during this summer heat?
Ideally, you shouldn't do it. And the simple reason is कि ये जो gadgets हैं, all these electronics जो हम एक laptop की बात करते हैं, let's say talk about a smartphone, SSD or a pen drive, could be anything. यहाँ पे एक्सट्रीम हीट माइट डैमेज द इंटरनल कंपोनेंट्स. तो अगर आप अपनी कार में इनको छोड़ रहे हैं तो एटलीस्ट इन द ग्लव बॉक्स इफ यू कैन कीप देम, मे बी रैप्ड इन अ पीस ऑफ क्लॉथ और समथिंग, वहाँ पे मे बी इट्स इन योर बैग तो ठीक रहेगा. बट इफ इट्स जस्ट लाइंग अराउंड, बिकॉज वी ऑल नो दैट इन दिस कार जहाँ पे विंडोज सब अप की हुई हैं और वो कहीं बाहर धूप में खड़ी है तो टेम्परेचर्स जो हैं दे राइज क्वाइट ड्रेस्टिकली. तो उस केस में लाइफ स्पैन कम हो सकता है, मे बी जो कुछ कंपोनेंट्स हैं वो डैमेज हो सकते हैं और एट द एंड आपका डिवाइस हो सकता है ठीक से काम ना करे. तो आइडियली आई वुड से यू नीड टू प्रोटेक्ट योर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स, बी इट SSD, बी इट USB, और गाड़ी में धूप में लंबे टाइम तक उनको छोड़ना इज नॉट समथिंग विच इज आइडियल.
हाय TG, मुझे कोडिंग सीखनी है पर मैंने स्कूल में कंप्यूटर साइंस नहीं ली थी. क्या मैं अब कोडिंग सीख सकती हूँ?
व्हाई नॉट. इनफैक्ट अभी तो कोडिंग काफ़ी ज़्यादा और आसान भी हो गई है. आइडियली अगर आपको एक बेसिक नॉलेज है ऑफ हाउ थिंग्स वर्क तो कोडिंग इनफैक्ट अभी तो बहुत इंटरेक्टिव और काफ़ी आसान भी हो गई है सीखने के लिए. येस, द प्रायर एक्सपीरियंस समटाइम्स हेल्प्स टू गिव यू अ बेस.
This is the Left, Right and Center and I'm Maria Shakil. At least 40 Indians are dead and dozens more injured in a devastating fire in a building in the southern Mangaf district of Kuwait. This building housed Indian workers. The fire started in the kitchen in the 6-story building, officials said, and they also added that this building reportedly had nearly 160 people living in, who are all working for the same company. Eyewitnesses, in fact, said that some people jumped from the 5th floor of the building to escape the fire and died. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today condoled the deaths and said that the Indian embassy is closely monitoring the situation and working with the authorities there to assist those who have been affected. Ghazali is tracking this story very closely. Ghazali, there was a high-level meeting at 7 LKM, that is Prime Minister's residence. What are we picking up? What is the immediate move by the Indian government?
See, the Minister of State for External Affairs Ministry, Mr. Kirtivardan Singh, will be flying out to Kuwait after this meeting, and he has been sent, or he's going to Kuwait to ensure a smooth repatriation of the mortal remains of the Indians who were killed in this tragic accident there. And also, right now, the situation over there is that the ambassador of Indian ambassador there in Kuwait is coordinating not only with the relief work, but the major challenge is the identification of those who are deceased and as well as those who are injured. That is why a helpline number has been issued. And also, one of the ministers in Kuwait has blamed the owner of the building for his greed, for cramming so many people in that 6-story building where more than 150 people were housed. 40 are killed, more than 30 are injured, and there were many people, as some eyewitnesses say, that who jumped out of the building to escape from that fire, and even they have died. So a very tragic incident. Perhaps the Internal Affairs Ministry there in Kuwait has also ordered a strict action against the owner, the janitor, and all those who are responsible for violation of fire safety norms for that building. But the primary concern remains for the ambassador over there is to identify those who have died and to establish contact with their loved ones or relatives and family back here in India.
Ghazali, do we know they come from which state of India?
Most of the people, around 10 of them, as we have confirmed, are from Kerala, but some of those, some nursing association in Kuwait or other cultural associations in Kuwait who are in the know of the things have told that most Indians who were there in that building are from the southern states of Kerala and Tamil Nadu, but exact breakdown of a state will be issued by the External Affairs Ministry. Meanwhile, the Tamil Nadu government has also written to MEA as well as the Indian embassy in Kuwait to provide the details of those who have died there or those who are undergoing the treatment in the hospital.
All right, Ghazali, thank you so much. Certainly a very, very disturbing story which has come out. Shifting focus now to the two discussions on the left, right and center tonight. He shot to fame playing the righteous man in real life. But today he's the bad guy in real life. Darshan isn't new to controversy. In fact, the superstar of Kannada film industry was arrested from his farmhouse in Karnataka's Mysuru in connection with a murder case. In total, 13 people, including Darshan and Pavitra, his co-star, have been arrested so far in this connection of the murder of a 33-year-old Renuka Swami. What is Renuka Swami's crime? He allegedly sent obscene messages to Pavitra as he felt she was the reason and perhaps responsible for the rift between Darshan and his wife. This incident has taken the entire Sandalwood by storm. We will be joined by Darshan's co-stars on the show shortly. And that is the second story on the show, our top story. 3 separate attacks in 3 days, escalating tensions in Jammu and Kashmir. Following a recent terror strike in Riyasi, another wave of violence was unfolded. In fact, has unfolded, prompting intensified security measures. The attacks included an exchange of fire between terrorists and security forces in Doda district. Additionally, security forces also engaged in an operation to apprehend a terrorist hiding in Saida Sukhal village in Kathua district. 3 security personnel were injured in an exchange of fire between terrorists and security forces in Jammu and Kashmir's Doda district following an attack on a joint checkpost. This comes even as Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif felicitated Prime Minister Modi for his swearing in for the 3rd term, and his brother Nawaz Sharif said, "Let's replace hate with hope." Why this double speak, we ask on the show. But first up, here's a quick wrap of all that happened today.
3 attacks, in 3 days as terror spreads its shadow across the Jammu region. 2 days after an attack on a bus carrying Mata Vaishno Devi Yatris in Riyasi, terrorists struck in Kathua and Doda districts, killing 1 security force personnel and injuring 6 others. After a 15-hour-long standoff in Hiranagar area of Kathua, 2 terrorists were killed. Police said villagers raised an alarm after terrorists asked for water from several houses who shut their doors.
ये नया इन्फिल्ट्रेटेड ग्रुप है जिसमें कि जिस इस इलाके में आया है और ज़्यादा आतंकवादियों के छिपे होने की भी संभावना है। 2 आतंकवादियों को मार गिराया गया है और अभी सर्च ऑपरेशन इलाके में चल रहा है।
From the site of encounter, police have recovered a US-made M4 carbine. A similar weapon were used in Yatri's bus attack in which 9 pilgrims were killed and 33 were injured. Hours after Kathua incident, terrorists targeted an army camp in Doda district. 5 soldiers and special police officer were injured. Terrorists appear to have managed to escape even as a massive cordon and search operation has been launched in the area. Amid spike in attacks, former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Farooq Abdullah has called for talks with Pakistan to end terrorism.
Unfortunately, we still have problem with our neighbor. And the problem with neighbor will not be solved by military action. Unless we talk to our neighbors, we will not be able to solve the problem that we have here. Because these terrorists are coming over the border. And they continue to come. Whichever government tomorrow is in here, we'll have to still face the same thing. And innocent people die.
Since 2021, Jammu region, particularly Poonch and Rajouri districts have witnessed some of the major terrorist attacks. 39 soldiers and 20 civilians have been killed in these attacks.
Jammu is under attack and militancy is spreading across the region. Back-to-back attacks has not only surprised security structure, it also indicates larger design. Besides a major security challenge, police say attacks are aimed at communalizing situation in a place which has composite population. In Srinagar, Nazir.
And let me bring Nazir, who's joining us live. Nazir, 3 incidents in 3 days. It's certainly a huge challenge for security agencies.
Well, Maria, as we speak, one more encounter has started. In a place called Gando, in Baresa area, Badarwa, in Doda district itself. 1 policeman has been injured in this fresh encounter. So in 3 days, 4 encounters or 4 attacks. So it's all happening in Jammu province, which was free from militancy till few years back. But we see these back-to-back attacks, encounters across Jammu region. It's not only the Pir Panjal region, which is Chenab, Poonch and Rajouri. Then shadow of militancy spread to Riyasi, where we saw this horrible attack on pilgrims just because of their faith, who they were. That's why bus was targeted. 8 plunged into the gorge. 9 were killed. 33 were injured. Yesterday evening, there was people suspected that militants were in a village in Hiranagar area of Kutwa. They raised the alarm when militants came to ask for water. Police came. There was an encounter. 2 militants were killed. But, one BSF, CRPF Jawan also lost his life. Among the recoveries which were made at the encounter site is M4 American rifle, which is the similar weapon that was used in Riyasi attack on the pilgrims, Mata Vaishno Devi pilgrims. And hours after that encounter, incident in Kutwa, in Doda, there was an attack on army installation. 5 army soldiers and 1 special police official were injured. Hopefully they are all, fortunately they are all, stable in the hospital. But militants managed to escape. So within 24 hours of that attack, there's another attack. Encounter really? in the same district, Doda district. So what sources tell us, at least 2 to 3 militant groups, all foreigners, they're operating in Doda, which was completely free from militancy. So really a very tense situation, and timing of these incidents is very, very crucial. It has happened after the successful parliament elections in Jammu and Kashmir. It has happened. It coincides with the swearing ceremony of Prime Minister Modi and his Council of Ministers. Exactly the same time the Yasi incident happened. And now they hope that the elections will be held in Jammu and Kashmir Assembly elections as deadline set by the Supreme Court, which is the September. And also Amarnath Yatra is around the corner. And all the spike in these attacks, 4 attacks or 4 encounters within 3 days, has surprised everybody, including security agencies. Nobody knows why it has all happened. Well, the intelligence agencies say that there was input. There are multiple groups and at least 2 to 3 groups in Doda district alone.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Nazir, and giving us that perspective from the ground. Brahma Chelani, Strategic Affairs expert, joins us live. We also have Lieutenant General Syed Ata Hasnain, RP Singh, spokesperson of the BJP, and Imran Nabidar of the National Conference. Lieutenant General Hasnain, I'm going to begin with you. 3 incidents in 72 hours, 3 terror attacks in 72 hours, 9 civilians killed, 6 soldiers injured. That is the number that we are looking at. And all incidents happening in Jammu. So is Jammu somehow now emerging as the new terror hotbed?
Thank you, Maria. Thank you for inviting me for your program. There is no doubt. I was just listening to Nazir Masoodi. He's an old hand at this. He knows the game very well of what's happening in Jammu and Kashmir. To say that you are surprised, it surprises me. No one should be surprised. When you've just conducted a huge election, an electoral exercise, successfully demonstrated India's democracy, just going in at that time for the inauguration of the 3rd government of the NDA, the swearing in ceremony of the Honorable Prime Minister. These are big ticket events. Right? And everyone's eyes and attention was in India, internationally, internally, and from Pakistan. This is a typical terrorist activity which always happens. It happened, if you remember, 20 years ago, 24 years ago with Chitti Singhpura, when Bill Clinton was visiting India and addressing the Parliament of India on the 20th of March. On the 19th of March, 36 Sikhs were killed in Chitti Singhpura. Now, this is the kind of thing which happens with the terror. I'm not saying that it should happen and we should allow it to happen. Obviously, you have to make sure that you counter these kind of things. But an event such as this can happen. This is not a one-off event. This is a series of 3 to 4, and the 4th incident, as just described, is also started. So obviously, this is an exercise to try and communicate a message saying Pakistan is still relevant. The terrorists still have an agenda. They have the Pakistani narrative continues to play its role here. They think that there is only a temporary setback for them. 5 years of near normalcy. For them, it is just a temporary reprieve that we have got, and that they can all bounce back into this game.
Okay,
that's the message we are trying to convey to the world.
Yes. So on one hand, there are 3 terror attacks in a matter of 72 hours and Riyasi happening even as Prime Minister Modi's new Council of Ministers was taking oath. But sir, then you had a series of tweets come in from Pakistan, from Nawaz Sharif and also his brother Shehbaz Sharif. And both talking peace.
See, Maria, we all know Pakistan. Pakistan is run by layers and layers. It's not run by a monolith. To say that Shehbaz Sharif has got total control over Pakistan, it would be a total fabrication. You have the ISI, you have the Pakistan Army, you have retired veterans in the Pakistan Army, you have the deep state, so to say, so many elements within the deep state, you have ideologues, you have a running counterinsurgency and insurgency which is already taking place there. So Pakistan is in a mess as it is. Who is in control and who is doing what, no one knows. So a tweet comes from the other side is immaterial because from the same side also all the sponsorship is coming in and taking place here. The terrorist attacks which are taking place here. It's very clear that we have to get our act together. We have to ensure that as secure as Kashmir is today, we need to secure the Jammu region too.
Okay.
Obviously, there has been over a period of time, and there are factors which are responsible for this. The terrain is that kind of thing. The population is very different there. I mean, one can keep on analyzing and giving you the reasons for it. That's the long and short of it, is that we have to be proactive and we have to carry out operations to neutralize this.
Yes. So, Brahmachalani, there is a visible shift because Kashmir has been properly safeguarded. So, the terrorists have looked at a new terrain, which is Jammu now, and the timing. First, successful, in fact, record-breaking voter turnout in all the constituencies that went to polls, clear affirmation of democratic exercise and electoral exercise, and then the oath-taking of the Prime Minister. All this is, certainly is making the neighborhood uncomfortable.
Well, the first lesson from terrorism is never rest on your oars, as terrorists will innovate to craft new means for attack. They will always look for new openings. And the second lesson is to prevent the attacks, you need to impose sustained costs on sponsors of terror. Something that we often tend to forget. We kind of turn terrorism into a police response or a response involving paramilitary forces and the army. We forget that to stop terrorism, you need to impose costs on those that are staging these attacks. Now, Pakistan has a history of coinciding terrorist attacks with major developments in India. So it's not a coincidence that the new Modi government's inauguration was greeted with a series of terrorist attacks, and which have occurred not in Kashmir Valley, but in Jammu. That again is intentional, is to drive home a message. Pakistan is unable to take on India directly, so it has weaponized terrorism. And now it is seeking to normalize terrorism at the beginning of Modi's third term. It's throwing a direct challenge at the new Modi government. Some time ago, Modi had said that there must be a cost imposed upon countries that support terrorism. The question is, how do you impose costs on Pakistan? Of course, the costs can be imposed covertly, they can be imposed overtly, but certainly what the Prime Minister said in the second term is so relevant, because if you don't impose costs on the sponsors of terrorism, you will continue to be on the defensive. You will continue to suffer major terrorist attacks. And here, it's innocent civilians who are getting killed. And the terrorists, some of them, for example, the attack in Kathua, the terrorists attacked a border village, and they appeared from eyewitness accounts to have just recently infiltrated from across the border. So it goes to show that first, infiltration is happening. Second, that Pakistan is pursuing a larger aim that needs to be nullified, and that Modi government's hands are full, because Modi, in fact, is leaving tonight for Italy to attend the G7 summit, and there are a number of challenges that his government faces already, and yet his government cannot ignore this challenge that Pakistan
yes,
is
so there are new terrains which are emerging, certainly, and Pakistan is sending a message here. And Imran Nabidar, here is your party patron talking about dialogue. I mean, in what way can the dialogue continue here? Or initiate a dialogue? Why should India initiate a dialogue?
National Conference has always been a votary of dialogue. This is not the first time that Dr. Farooq Saab or Mr. Umar Abdullah has said this. This is our consistent stand, and we still stand by it. We are not warmongers. We do not believe in war, because we have suffered innumerably. Over 1 lakh Kashmiri and Jammu people have died in these last 30 years. So we will be the last one to ask for war. That is why our leadership has always advocated peaceful ways of addressing the conflict. Having said this, I think Lieutenant General Atta Hasnain Saab, what just said about this incident, I think he is an old hand, and he knows, he has handled Kashmir for a long time, I believe. and he would also know this, and he would also support my argument on this, that this area has been militancy free. This, when I say this area, I say the entire belt in Jammu. And this is not a one-off incident. This has not happened on the day when Prime Minister Modi was taking the oath. There has been a number of such incidents happening in the same area.
Okay, so let Lieutenant General Ata Hasnain respond to this. And General Hasnain, correct me, because I'm looking at some data which actually says that since 2021, Jammu region, particularly Poonch and Rajouri districts, have witnessed some of the most major terror attacks. 39 soldiers and 20 civilians have been killed in these attacks. So isn't really a new terrain?
No, it's not a new terrain, Maria, at all. I'll tell you the reason why this shift has taken place. The shift is that there has been a tremendous focus of the security forces, the intelligence agencies on the Kashmir region. And as a result, infiltration has, well, not dried up completely, but been controlled to a great extent. Recruitment has been controlled. Much of the networks which existed and supported terror in this area of Kashmir have all been neutralized. For example, the best example you look at is you don't have any hideouts available in villages and townships today. If you don't have hideouts, terrorists cannot stay in a particular place. They have to stay for 4, 5. They used to stay for 2, 3 days earlier. Now they stay for 6, 7 days. So automatically the intelligence comes out and the neutralization is possible. So as a result of that, the terror has shifted into the Pir Panjal belt, away from the urban areas, away from the villages, and come into the rocky layer, the jungle areas, and spreading towards the other side on the Poonch Rajouri side. The advantage in Poonch Rajouri side is that you can also infiltrate and reach into the Pir Panjal in a much quicker time frame. Unlike the Kashmir area where you start from Uri or Gurez and it takes you 100 kilometers to reach Srinagar. There are various reasons for all this. I mean, everyone who looks at it from a militancy angle knows it. So that is the reason why Pakistan, with its limited efforts, feels that it can make a greater difference in this area of Jammu, where the population also is divided. 50% Hindu, 50% Muslim. You carry out an action, try and communalize the whole situation by trying to carry out an action against the Hindu population in Riyasi and some areas like that. So there are advantages which Pakistan has got, and we have to understand them, go back to the basics and start all over again, neutralizing these areas.
So RP Singh, perhaps the new Kashmir is actually new Kashmir because the terrorists have moved to now the Jammu region because of the presence of security forces in Kashmir. It's a different... Yes, please.
You didn't allow me to complete my
One
point.
moment, let RP Singh come in.
I
RP Singh, go
wanted
ahead.
to complete my point.
RP Singh, go ahead.
Maria, I'll appreciate allow him to complete his point. Otherwise, they will play a victim card. Please allow them.
Okay. Imran Dar, 30 seconds you have.
Yeah. So my point is that these are all decisions that the political class has to take. We should not, I'm not blaming the military, I'm not blaming the forces, but the blame has to rest somewhere. Somebody has to take the accountability. We're still a democracy and we need to ask questions to those people who have been governing us for the last 10 years. BJP is at the center. BJP is ruling in Jammu and Kashmir. They said earlier that Article 370 is responsible for militancy. Now Article 370 has been gone for the last 5 years. So who are they fooling? I mean, their whole narrative has come falling down and they need to accept the realities and somebody has to be held accountable for this. What General Hasnain has said, I mean, these are decisions that political decisions have been taken and country has been taken for a ride because militancy was associated with something which had nothing to do with militancy.
Okay, RP, will you please respond to this? He's talking about accountability. The buck stops with whom now?
Yeah.
The buck stops with BJP.
Yes. Thank you, gentlemen. You got your time, and I'll appreciate you now hear patiently and not intervene in between. Maria, let me call the bluff first. The gentleman said 1 lakh people had been killed in last 30 years, 10 every day. But how do they spread lies on television channels and or other mediums by giving false figures? This is one. Secondly, who has to be held responsible?
False figure.
Sir, did I see Maria this happen?
Listen to him.
if we want to debate figures, then I am ready with my figures also. I can pull up all the references if you want.
Mr. Dar, let's be patient.
Why are we debating this?
Yes.
Maria, why are we debating this? I mean, a political aspect of it, why go into a wrangle at all like this?
Absolutely.
Let's look at the professional
Absolutely.
side of it.
General Hasnain, because RP Singh hasn't got a time to speak,
I agree. I agree. Mr. RP Singh should get
he has
his
been
time.
extremely courteous, so let's extend that courtesy to him. Yes, RP Singh, go ahead.
No. I'm more courteous toward Kashmiris because I have very dear friends in Kashmir and I've worked in Kashmir for almost 10 years, General Sahab, and I've dealt with Hezbollah people also during my tenure as a party worker in Kashmir.
That's great.
And
RP,
I've hoisted national flag against all the wishes of Mr. Umar Abdullah at the Lal Chowk only. And then I was slashed like an animal and was jailed in Munshiram Bagh police station by Mr. Abdullah's government and the order of Mr. Umar Abdullah. But that point aside, coming to the issue of the recent attacks, and then he says the buck stops with the present government in the last 10 years. And then he talks about 30 years of Walnak people being killed. And it was Farooq Abdullah who deserted, who ditched Kashmir and ran away from Kashmir to London, to the safe haven, and allowed whatever has happened. And the complete process of the fresh terrorism started with Mr. Farooq Abdullah going to London in 1987-89. So that's one point. But coming to the basic issue, even today he has not mended ways. Even today he's saying, let's talk to Kashmir, Pakistan. And not only that, be scared of Pakistan. Pakistan has an atomic bomb. How can we have a fight with Pakistan? And his brother is saying, where is the evidence that Pakistan is doing all this? Mr. What is his name? Kamal Mustafa, if I rightly remember. He is saying, where is the evidence? Give us the evidence of that Pakistan is involved into this.
Not Kamal Mustafa.
Okay.
My apologies, sir. My apologies.
Okay.
But the issue is that they are the overground supporters and workers of the terrorists.
So I'm
saying
not
on that record. Hold on, sir. Hold on. I never interrupted you.
We have no.
I never interrupted you.
How can you say my party is an overground? How can you in your
Mr. Abdullah?
RP Singh, sir, thank you so much for joining us. We also want to thank Brahma Chilani, Lieutenant General Atta Hasnain, and also Imran Nabidar. On that note, we are slipping into a short break. After that, some details that are coming in on the Darshan murder case. In fact, the Kannada actor. The question really is that was the actor himself present at the scene of the crime? Bengaluru police has shared some details. We'll try and get that for you.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
From defense to manufacturing, India stands on the brink of being a superpower. Join me in exploring this remarkable journey on India Ascents.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. बनेगा स्वस्थ इंडिया। वन वर्ल्ड हाइजीन।
Our life is anyway quite easy these days because हमको वो कैश कैरी नहीं करना पड़ता है. We can make the payments just using UPI. हमारे फोन से इंस्टेंट एक QR स्कैन करके हम पेमेंट कर देते हैं. बट द क्वेश्चन इज कि अगर आपके पास में आपका वॉलेट नहीं है और आप UPI के भरोसे घर से निकल गए, लेट्स से यू डोंट गेट इंटरनेट सिग्नल एज वेल. समटाइम्स ऐसा होता है और आपको अगर वहां पे UPI से पेमेंट करना है, हाउ वुड यू डू इट? गाइस, द सिंपल आंसर इज कि आप बिना इंटरनेट के भी UPI से पेमेंट्स कर सकते हैं इफ यू जस्ट फॉलो द फॉलोइंग इंस्ट्रक्शंस. सबसे पहले आपको आपके फोन से डायल करना है *99#. जी हाँ, ये कुछ ऐसा ही है जो पहले हम डायल करते थे, *123#, *121#, फॉर ऑल आर बैलेंस चेक इंक्वायरीज. तो जब आप इस नंबर को डायल करते हैं, उसके बाद यू कैन फॉलो द प्रॉम्प्ट्स और आप जिसको भी पैसा भेजना चाहते हैं उसका UPI ID या फिर मोबाइल नंबर एंटर करने के बाद अपना UPI पिन साथ में ऐड करके पेमेंट कर सकते हैं इवन वाइल यू आर ऑफलाइन. It simply means that it's functional and it's secure as well, क्योंकि आपको आपका UPI पिन यूज करना होता है. So next time you're in the mountains, next time you are stuck somewhere with no internet and you want to make an payment कहीं पे भी, तो आप कर सकते हैं with the help of offline technique जो मैंने आपको बताया. टिप इज वेरी यूजफुल. याद कर लो इसको, कभी ना कभी जरूर काम आएगी.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news,
Darshan, we have Sanjana, but before that, I want to understand from you, Lata. Lata, Darshan isn't really new to controversy. Even he has had several such skirmishes as was being highlighted by Sanjay Sahai in the past as well. And here it is that he has taken the most extreme step and is facing the allegation of a heinous crime of this nature. But look at the sheer irony, I would say, that these alleged inappropriate messages were sent in a private space, in the sense that this was not put out in a public domain. These were sent privately, and then Pavitra allegedly shares with Darshan, and then he goes ahead and does this.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing we need to understand, like you said about Darshan, is that he's always been a very extremely temperamental person. And over the last decade, if you see the number of controversies he's been embroiled in, right from 2011, when his wife accused him of domestic abuse, and then they went to the police, and then of course they reconciled because other senior, film industry leaders came and intervened. But every few years, he's been involved in some serious issue or the other, even assaulting a waiter for which he paid 50,000 rupees, and they hushed it up and so on. Last year, his dog attacked somebody and there was a police case filed, and, that got resolved. So Darshan has always been a very controversial figure. But one thing is, he has a very strong fandom. His fans are like crazy about him. And that also, I think, plays a very big role here. Now, whatever, of course, his married life has not gone. His wife and he are allegedly separated, and he allegedly has a relationship with Pavitra right now. And even she put out a post on Instagram saying, it's been 10 years that they've been together. So given the fact that, he has such a huge number of fans, there are many of them who tend to become like stalkers, We saw Baby Reindeer recently, which was a huge show on Netflix. They do tend to stalk you on social media, and social media has blown, this private life of people so wide open, especially celebrities, that there's nothing you can conceal anymore. And I think that's a good side and a bad side, and that's where Darshan has been caught. And as far as the WhatsApp messages, being in private and so on, I think this could have been handled very differently. But given his temperamental streak, I think it just went in a very different direction.
Yes, perhaps, the sheer idea that you are larger than life actor and you can get away with it. Dr. Deepak Raheja, is that star syndrome actually leading to such kinds of crimes?
So the star status, like's been said, definitely can contribute to that feeling of untouchability and invincibility and being able to get away with anything that one does. But I think it's also to do with the temperament of the person, the predisposition, the personality profile, because what's being alleged is not something very subtle. It's he's accused of murder in absolute with absolute planning and conniving. So we do see streaks of manipulativeness, a preconceived idea, and then taking it to execution. So of course, I mean, but it will be unfair to say that all stars can be prone to acts like that. I mean, the starhood can come up with this share of grandeur and the diva syndrome that they carry. But I think it's definitely to do with individual predisposition, where you are in life right now, what kind of relationship he had with Pavitra, how Pavitra narrated. I mean, also what the profile that Pavitra had and the manner in which she would have narrated to him. Perhaps, I mean, how it enraged and infuriated him to the extent to go on and hire hitmen and plan something to this meticulous execution. This is horrific.
Yes, so let me take that question, in fact, to Sanjana, who's joining us, who's also worked as a co-star of Darshan. Sanjana, thank you so much. I want to understand, since you have worked with Darshan and you have known Darshan, did he at any point tell you about these kind of messages that, Pavitra was receiving? And what kind of man was he in terms of being in an equation such as you had?
Firstly, I have been his co-star and I have not been his friend to know his personal whereabouts. But I can tell you one thing, that Darshan is like a demigod figure out here in the Kannada industry. He's having an image of an actor, of a successful actor, which is larger than life. And people just not watch his films or fan him. People out here worship him. He's as big as that. And however, this is been like a black day for us ever since yesterday, or rather even today. It's been like a doomsday for the Kannada industry. And his last film, Katera, also was very successful on a pan-India level. He's a box office Badshah, a box office Sultan, or you can call him the biggest money roller in the Kannada industry. And his films are doing well nationally. So distributors are earning huge monies even nationally because of his film and because of the brand that he is. And howsoever, we are very emotionally related to him for the kind of social work that he has done, for the kind of a person he is. From the person that he is and that I know, I still remember he would not even call me by my name when I was shooting with him. He'd be like, Ji suniye, that colloquial slang in Kannada, Amma kutkoli, Amma tindi aita, Amma. That is how he represents a woman, and that was his tone when I was working with him in a film titled Arjun. And a very soft-spoken man, very hugely built, perhaps, very soft-spoken gentleman, and the way he would talk to any woman, the way he would behave with any woman. There was a scene when he had to lift me. So he discussed it with me, he told me, be comfortable, G, I will do it this way, G, and things like that. It's very... he's having a very beautiful aura around him with the way he talks and respects women. And on the other hand, this situation has come up and it has completely shocked the guts out of every person in Karnataka.
Okay, so the entire film industry is shocked, but the larger question is that here is a superstar. You call him a demigod who has been accused of murder. It's a serious and heinous crime, no matter what the provocation. He has allegedly taken somebody's life. So in your conversations with him, there are, it is being said repeatedly, and I'm going through some articles which said that he was not new to controversy. He was known to be temperamental.
No, I'm telling you, the particular person who has been spoken about in the news is true. The particular person whom I know in person, it feels like two different personalities. And however, we have to respect the law and order of the country is what I believe. We should not be challenging what they are recording in the FIR and the charge sheet. It's the cops because of whom today I am sitting peacefully in my house. And because we are legally safe in our life, it's purely because of the law and order of the country. But it's very early to jump the gun and say that, okay, he has done this or he has done that. We have to wait and see what is happening. And there are, when something like this happens with a celebrity, if there's a 5% allegation, the 5% allegation becomes a 500% allegation. The 500% becomes a 5,000% allegation. And before we know, there's an entire movie out of it that you can make. So that's what is happening right now, because I have been a victim of the system. And there was a case where I was dragged into, I got a complete clean shit in the so-called sandalwood drug case in which I was dragged just because a person whom I knew very well, he verbally said she is also involved, and I was dragged along. And then it took me 3 long years to get the case completely quashed and get a clean chit from the High Court. So I hope something like that has happened with him, where he can also come out eventually from the problem.
Okay, Sanjana, I'm going to come back to you in just a bit, but let's bring in Sanjay Sai. Sanjay Sai here is a co-actor talking about two different personalities, but also saying that this could be a case of exaggeration, She is talking about her own experience in which she got a clean chit.
So as far as this actress you're talking about, co-star, so she's talking about an allegation and some drug-related stuff which she claims that has been fabricated. And I'm not getting into the details of the case. So that if you compare with what Darshan is alleged of. They are two totally radically
Absolutely,
different crimes.
yes.
And crimes cannot be compared. There
Yes,
can
but
be
she
a
is
crime
talking
where-
about, essentially saying that because he's such a big star, there are a lot of allegations flowing thick and fast only because of his stardom.
We have seen stars, we have seen politicians, we have seen celebrities getting, we
Yes.
have seen mothers killing their daughters. So all that we have seen. So this is nothing new to this country and to the crime world. What I intend to say that if a police investigative team lays its hands on a person like Darshan, they are more than 100% sure that they are getting into something which they can substantiate to literally any level whatsoever. A technical loophole at the time of trial might be a different story altogether. But what they are stitching together, now you think of this whole thing from the time when these messages have come into the private social media posts. From there, Pavitra telling Darshan how he reacted, what he reacted, if we keep that aside, certainly he has brought in nearly 11 people, has conspired, allegedly conspired, and it has happened from somewhere in Bangalore, then abduction, then this person being brought, what is being alleged that Darshan had also gone there, Pavitra had gone there, the whole details of the way this guy was thrashed, the weapon being used, whatever blunt weapon, nature of the weapon. So broadly, there are very, very minute details still in the investigative process is on. So those things have been tied up, which you also know, I also know.
No, I agree with you, Sanjay Sahai, that because he is such a big star, I'm sure the Bangalore police has done a thorough homework before even doing that press conference that they did. Where,
one more
yes,
thing
sir, go
I'll
ahead.
add now. One more thing I'll add that in the current situation. So what has changed is that we are living in a digital age. So the nature of evidence which is being provided to us today, that is way, way, way better than what it used to be earlier by way of CCTV footage. And literally we can get into every detailing, every frame of it. We can get into video analytics. And if you only get into the call data analytics, if you get into the analytics of location, there are digital platforms which can stitch all this evidence together and stitch in a manner which becomes irrefutable. Now, currently we are dealing with things which are irrefutable. And 6 days of police custody will help us to literally join every little thread into a neat investigative narrative.
Lata, because here, as one of his co-stars was talking about, the kind of fandom that he has, what are exactly the reactions that you're picking up? Is there more of a denial that he can't be involved types?
Yeah, absolutely, Maria. Because see, like she said, like Sanjana said, he is treated, he is worshipped. And especially in South India, we do idol worship. The audience worships their stars, right? They can do no wrong. And they are also engaged in a lot of philanthropy and so on. So the relationship which they share with their fans is very different than what Bollywood does. Here, it's like, the star is a member of their family. So therefore, what has happened right now is his fans, thronged the police station, thronged his house because they're in shock that he was arrested, first of all, or taken into custody over such allegations. And they just can't believe that somebody who has done so much of good for them and who, enacts the common man on screen who's always trying to bring justice. How could he do such a heinous crime? I mean, it's something unimaginable for them, and they're going to support him come what may, and over the next few days as well, because they believe in his innocence. And of course, we'll have to wait and see what the investigation unfolds. But as far as his fans are concerned, he is innocent, and they're hoping he's going to come out soon.
Okay, so for his fans, he's innocent. Dr. Deepak Raheja, in terms of, there are multiple relationships here at play, and that's the reason why this is turning out to be a very murky murder in terms of the details that are emerging. What does it tell us about this man? I mean, a demigod who is almost trying to replicate his real life invincibility into real life.
So what's very evident is the invincibility and the aura that a star like himself ends up creating. But what's also becoming evident with the investigation as it goes on is multiple threads and the multiple manner in which the whole thing was hatched and executed, to which, it to me, it clearly points to not an impulse, not an impromptu decision, if we were to believe the evidence and the facts that are emerging, a very premeditated, manner, and almost very gory. I mean, just the fact that, enacting something on screen but playing it on real life, the difference between real and real is known to most stars, and you will not really find stars indulging into behaviors like that. And sometimes it can be a total dichotomy, like how Sanjana was saying. I mean, in real life, he comes across to be extremely chivalrous and very, very kind and very, very respectful. But it can be an extreme. Dichotomy with sometimes the behavior that's exhibited when the wrong nerves are pressed, when the desired outcomes are not met in life, and then the fact of blurring of the real and the real world can
and the details are still emerging, so perhaps we'll know more about it, because the Bangalore police is continuing to do those press conferences to share details. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Deepak Raheja, Sanjay Sahai, Sanjana, and also Lata. We are putting out this entire debate on ndtv.com. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.
Hello and welcome. We are in Rome, Italy, on our way to Apulia in the south of Italy, where the G7 summit is going to be held. The Prime Minister will be here tomorrow. It's his first international visit since the NDA-3 government came into power. Why is G7 important? Because it is a collection of the world's most powerful nations. India now is in fact got a bigger economy than 3 of those nations: Italy, the host, Canada, and also France. What are the key issues over here? Why is it important for India to be attending? Join me, Vishnu Shom, for very special programming right here on NDTV 24/7.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. 10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
Finally, I'm here. Finally, this is the time जहाँ पे मैं आपके सवालों के जवाब देता हूँ in this section, which happens to be my favorite as well, and it's called Ask TG. Let's see इस week हमारे पास में कौन से सवाल हैं. To be honest, in Android TV, we don't have any such features जहाँ पे आपको live जो सामने speech आ रहा है उसके captions screen पे दिखाई दे जाएं. We are expecting this feature to come कभी भी जब Google इसको unveil करता है, but as of now we don't have it. Samsung, however, in their latest AI TVs, जो Samsung ने launch किए थे, उसमें demonstrated that how using AI, they were able to put some captions for the text, जो भी dialogues या जो भी speech television में उस time पे है, वो सामने captions के form में visible है. Now I'm not sure कि how exactly this functions. Now मैं आपको एक और recommendation दे सकता हूँ, which is to try these bone conducting headphones or earphones, because sometimes what I have noticed is कि जहाँ पे hearing loss की हम बात करते हैं, because they use the mechanism of bone conduction, आप वहाँ से audio directly अपने inner ear के through सुन सकते हैं.
This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Hello, Moto.
Massive fire broke out in a residential building in Kuwait. 40 Indians dead, 30 people injured and 19 Indians have been rescued. A high-level meeting took place at Prime Minister's residence. MOS External Affairs has left for Kuwait. New Chief Ministers take charge in Andhra Pradesh and Odisha. Chandrababu Naidu back as Chief Minister for a fourth time, says it's a historic mandate. Odisha gets its first BJP Chief Minister in Mohan Majhi. Its tribal face. NDTV finds a tanker illegally filling water at the key canal from Haryana to Delhi as Haryana counters up government. Says enough water is being released. The Supreme Court asked the Delhi government what measures have been taken to counter the tanker mafia and wastage. In Jammu Kashmir, it's the fourth terror strike in 3 days. 2 terrorists were killed in an overnight encounter in Kathua. Was Kannada actor Darshan present at the scene of crime when Renuka Swami was killed? Bengaluru police are interrogating the star, his girlfriend, actress Pavitra Gowda, who were taken to the spot where the body was found. The World Bank has raised India's growth forecast. India to remain fastest growing major economy. Steady growth of 6.7% has been projected in the next 3 years. Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. My name is Kitty Bahel. There is some breaking news now coming in. We are learning another encounter has broken out between terrorists and security forces in Jammu Kashmir's Doda district. As per information coming in, a corps from the Special Operations Group has been injured. Well, this is the 4th terror strike in Jammu Kashmir over the past 3 days and the second encounter in the Doda region of the Jammu division. Earlier, 6 security personnel were injured in an exchange of fire with terrorists in Jammu Kashmir's Doda on Tuesday night. This was after an attack by terrorists on a joint checkpost. My colleague Nazir is also now joining us on the broadcast, getting us more details about this. And Nazir, we're learning another encounter has broken out in Doda district in Jammu Kashmir. What more details are coming out? One security personnel is injured. That is what we know so far.
Well, it's a place called Gando in Blesa area of Doda district, where this evening militants have fired on a police picket. One policeman has been reportedly injured. This is the 4th attack or the encounter in last 3 days or 4 days. So clearly there's intent to escalate the situation, that too in Jammu area. And one thing is very clear, all this what is happening today or last past 3-4 days is not which has started overnight. It means it was building on. They were establishing their presence in different regions of Jammu province, be it Pir Panjal, Chenab Valley or the Kutwa area. So clearly things are not as usual. This spike in militant attacks, particularly in Jammu, which was free from militancy. Yesterday there was an encounter in Kutwa, which ended today with the killing of 2 Pakistani militants. One M4 rifle, which is an American-made carbine, has been recovered among the other arms and ammunition. This is a similar weapon similar weapon was actually used on during the attack on Yatri bus in Riyasi district few days back, in which 9 Yatris were killed and 33 were injured after the bus plunged into a gorge.
Yes, Nazir, this of course becomes a huge security challenge for the authorities in Jammu Kashmir, and the government of course here at this center. Well, all efforts are being made to contain the situation at the moment by forces. We do understand at this point in time. Any more details that are coming out as to how many terrorists could be involved in this exchange of fire that is taking place in Doda at the moment?
Well, this was a firing on a police post. After the firing, it appears they have escaped. The way they did yesterday, after firing at an army post, army camp, in which 5 army soldiers were injured, 1 SOG person was injured, again in Doda district, but it is in a different area of Doda district. It's a large district, mountainous district. So one thing what our sources tell us, at least 2 to 3 militant groups, foreigners, they are operating in Doda, which is first time after many, many years we hear such news and then such attacks happening in this region.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Nazir, for getting us all those details. I will get back to you later as more details come in. That is the latest we're picking at this point in time. Meanwhile, shifting our focus now to some more news that we're tracking. Many Indians are feared dead and dozens more injured in a devastating fire in a building in the southern Mangaf district of Kuwait. This building housed Indian workers. The fire had started in a kitchen in this 6-story building as per reports. And the building reportedly had nearly 160 people living in it who are workers of the same company. Now, eyewitnesses have said that some people jumped from the 5th floor of the building to escape the fire and died. Prime Minister Narendra Modi condoled the deaths and said that the Indian embassy was closely monitoring the situation and working with the authorities there in Kuwait to assist the affected. Prime Minister Modi also held a meeting at his residence today to assess the situation in Kuwait. Well, MOS MEA Kirti Vardhan has also been rushed to Kuwait for further assistance. Pinarayi Vijayan also has tweeted recently saying that he's deeply saddened by the tragic fire accident at the Mangaf area in Kuwait, where 40 Indians have died. He's also said in his tweet that he's written to the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and has requested to ensure necessary arrangements to coordinate rescue operations. Also he said that reports indicate that there are several Keralites who are among the victims in the Kuwait fire. Prime Minister Modi also has tweeted saying that upon reaching back to Delhi after today's 2 oath-taking ceremonies, chaired a meeting to review the situation in the wake of the fire mishap in Kuwait, where people of Indian origin have been affected. He said that the government is doing everything possible to assist those affected by the gruesome fire tragedy.
हम लोगों की सबकी संवेदना है उन परिवारों के साथ जिनके लोग वहाँ थे और इस घटना में उनकी मृत्यु हुई है। अभी माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने हम लोगों की बैठक ली है और हम लोग यहाँ से कल सुबह वहाँ कुवैत के लिए रवाना हो रहे हैं। वहाँ का जो सिचुएशन है उसका स्टॉक लेंगे और जिनकी मृत्यु हो गई है उनकी जल्दी से जल्दी उनका आइडेंटिफिकेशन का प्रोसेस चालू है। इसमें जो लोग हैं जो अभी तक पता चल रहा है कि इन राज्यों के हैं और उनका आइडेंटिफिकेशन प्रोसेस चालू है।
All right, at least 2 workers from Tamil Nadu are feared dead in the Kuwait fire tragedy that killed nearly more than 40 Indians. We are learning the Tamil Nadu government has announced a helpline and is coordinating medical help to the injured through Tamil Association. My colleague Sam Daniel has spoken to non-resident Tamils Welfare Minister Ginji Mastan. Listen in.
The Tamil Nadu government is keeping a close watch on the developments in Kuwait following the major fire there in which 49 Indians are suspected to have been killed. And joining us now, Mr. Senji Mastan, the minister in charge of non-resident Tamils in Tamil Nadu. So thank you very much for your time. What's the information you're getting, sir?
சற்று நேரத்துக்கு முன்னே எங்களுக்கு 2 தமிழர்கள் அதில் உயிரிழந்திருக்கிறார் என்ற செய்தி தகவல் சொல்லப்பட்டது. ஆனால் அவர்களுடைய விபரத்தை கேட்ட பிறகு அங்கே தீ விபத்தால் அது பாதிக்கப்பட்டு உயிரிழந்த காரணத்தினால் இன்னும் சரியான முறையில் தெளிவாக அடையாளம் காட்ட முடியவில்லை. அவர்கள் தமிழர்கள் தானா மற்ற மாநிலத்தை சேர்ந்தவர்களா என்பதை அடையாளம் காட்ட முடியவில்லை. அடையாளம் கண்ட பிறகு அதை பற்றி தகவல் சொல்வதாக சொல்லியிருக்கிறார்கள். அதற்கு மாண்புமிகு முதலமைச்சர் அவர்கள் உடனடியாக மற்றவர்களுக்கும் அது மருத்துவமனையில் இருக்கிறவர்களுக்கும் அந்த சிகிச்சை அளிப்பதற்கான உண்டான உதவிகள் செய்ய வேண்டும்.
2 பேர் இன்னும் உறுதிப்படுத்தப்படலை.
அதாவது இன்னும் தெளிவாக சொல்லலை.
The minister says that there were reports that 2 people from Tamil Nadu could have been killed, but no confirmation yet. They're waiting for official confirmation. The challenge there, he says, is since many are burnt, the bodies are burnt, it's very difficult to identify, but they have to still wait for official confirmation. ரெண்டு விதமா போறதுக்கும் வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு. There could be people dead, there could be people injured. What are the arrangements Tamil Nadu government is making, sir?
இல்லை, தமிழகத்தை பொறுத்தவரையிலும் தமிழகத்தை சேர்ந்தவங்க அங்கே இருந்தாங்கன்னா அவங்கள அடையாளம் கண்ட பிறகு அந்த உடலை பொறுப்போடு அந்த யாருடைய உரிமைதாரரோ அவர்களிடத்தில் ஒப்படைக்கின்ற பணியும் அவர்களுக்கு தேவையான நிவாரணமும் கேட்டு பெற்று தர வேண்டியது தமிழக அரசினுடைய கடமையும்.
If there are any loss of lives in Kuwait, we will do everything possible to identify them and also to bring the mortal remains back home. In Chennai with Suresh, Sam Daniel, Find TV.
Well, many of the victims who managed to escape the fire in Kuwait have narrated their ordeal, how they managed to flee from the fire site and how do they feel about it now. Let's listen into this conversation we had.
कोई तकलीफ वगैरह भैया अभी आपको?
तकलीफ कोई नहीं है, पहले से बेटर है.
अच्छा,
ठीक है,
अच्छा लग रहा है. अपने घर पे बात हुई आपके?
जी, बात हो रही है.
सब लोग
ठीक है. हाँ,
सबको इत्मीनान दे दिए, तसल्ली दे दिए? अच्छा अच्छा. कंपनी के आदमी आए थे आपसे पूछने के लिए?
हाँ, कंपनी के आदमी आते हैं.
ओके, अपना ख्याल रखिए भाई, और कोई परेशानी की बात नहीं है. मिनिस्ट्री यहाँ पे बहुत ख्याल करती है, आप भी अपना ख्याल रखें, है ना. थैंक यू वेरी मच. थैंक यू वेरी मच. आप कहाँ से? नेपाल से हैं? हाँ, नेपाल से हैं. कैसा लग रहा है अभी?
थोड़ा अच्छा लग रहा है.
अच्छा लग रहा है. कोई परेशानी
नहीं? कोई परेशानी नहीं.
ओके, अपने घर में बात की आपने अपनी फैमिली से? इंडिया में, बांग्लादेश में. आप कहाँ पे? आप नेपाल के हैं? नेपाल के. ये नेपाल से हैं, ये भी कंपनी में काम करते हैं. ये कितने बजे हादसा हुआ था भाई?
वो 4:30 बजे से.
4:30 बजे. फिर आपने कैसे बचे आप?
हम तो सुबह आदमी लोग जो हल्ला कर रहा था रूम पे, इसलिए हम जाकर बाद में हम लोग शीशे खोल के बाद में वो
जंप किया?
जंप नहीं किया. हाँ. केबल तार था उसमें बांध के.
अच्छा, केबल तार. अच्छा, केबल तार से बाहर नीचे उतरे. ओहो,
वो 3 आदमी जैसे उतरा उससे.
अच्छा,
4 आदमी जैसे.
अच्छा.
और दूसरा रूम का आदमी इधर आके उतरा.
Horrible tragedy that has unfolded in Kuwait. However, the Indian government is making all efforts to rescue those who've been injured and bring them back. Meanwhile, some more news now that we're tracking at the moment. Amid protests by medical aspirants over alleged irregularities in the NEET UG 2024 exams, the NTA DG has said that 63 cases of students using unfair means were reported in the NEET UG exam, out of whom 23 have been debarred for wearing periods. He has reiterated that the sanctity of the medical entrance exam hasn't been compromised though, and has said that there has been no paper leak. Well, the NTA DG has said that the result of the remaining 40 candidates who were found using unfair means has been withheld. Remember, the Supreme Court has already sought a response from the NTA in a petition alleging question paper leaks in the NEET exam. The Supreme Court will also hear 3 petitions alleging irregularities in the NEET exam on June 13th. We'll keep an eye on the developments on that and get you more. It's time for a short break here.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand. Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
From defense to manufacturing, India stands on the brink of being a superpower. Join me in exploring this remarkable journey on India Ascends.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency, to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. Banega Swasth India. One world hygiene.
Our life is anyway quite easy these days because हमको वो cash carry नहीं करना पड़ता है. We can make the payments just using UPI. हमारे phone से instant एक QR scan करके हम payment कर देते हैं. But the question is कि अगर आपके पास में आपका wallet नहीं है और आप UPI के भरोसे घर से निकल गए, let's say you don't get internet signal as well. Sometimes ऐसा होता है और आपको अगर वहाँ पे UPI से payment करना है, how would you do it? Guys, the simple answer is कि आप बिना इंटरनेट के भी UPI से पेमेंट्स कर सकते हैं if you just follow the following instructions. सबसे पहले आपको आपके फोन से डायल करना.
Welcome back after the break. TDP Chief N. Chandrababu Naidu today took oath as Andhra Chief Minister for the fourth time after his party scored a thumping win in the assembly polls held alongside the Lok Sabha election. 24 members of his cabinet also took the oath. 17 first-timers are ministers in the new Naidu government. Prime Minister Modi and Chandrababu Naidu shared a special moment on the stage as well when the Prime Minister gave him a tight hug. Take a look at this report.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi with newly sworn in Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Nara Chandrababu Naidu and the man who would be his deputy Pavan Kalyan. The power star requesting the PM for a meeting with his brother, megastar Chiranjeevi.
Megastar Chiranjeevi. Megastar, power star, superstar Talaiva Rajnikant Garini.
There was the superstar Rajnikant too, as also a galaxy of union ministers, Amit Shah, JP Nadda, Nitin Gadkari, Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde and several others. The optics conveying how the NDA government led by Chandrababu Naidu in the state would work with the NDA government at the centre.
Andhra Pradesh would hope that the show of bonhomie would extend beyond the optics to real help for the state that is arguably in dire straits financially and is hoping to conquer many new milestones armed with the blessings and mandate by the people.
Nara Chandrababu Naidu ane nenu.
Chandrababu Naidu 4.0, with the 74-year-old taking oath for the fourth time as Chief Minister, includes 17 first-time ministers in the 25-member cabinet. With 3 ministers from the Janasena and Satyakumar Yadav from the BJP. Nara Lokesh, who became minister the last time through the MLC route, is seen to have come of age as a politician after his 3,000-kilometer Yuvagalam Padayatra across the state. The team includes 3 women and a minister from the minority Muslim community. There are 5 Kammas, 4 Kapus, 3 Reddys, 8 BC, 1 Vaisya, 2 SC and 1 ST community representative. Chandrababu Naidu has said the historic mandate is a responsibility and his first priority would be to build the state capital at Amravati.
ప్రజలు గెలిచారు రాష్ట్రాన్ని నిలబెట్టే బాధ్యత ఇక్కడుండే శాసనసభ్యులపైన మనందరిపైన ఉంది ఈ విషయం మనం గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది
Chandrababu Naidu has made it clear that Pawan Kalyan will be his deputy, the number 2 in his cabinet. Administratively, he would hope that the 17 new ministers will bring new energy, new ideas and innovative thinking to complement the experience of the seniors. Politically, having a new team can also make it easier and smoother for Lokesh to be elevated to the top eventually. With Aishwarya Jain in Vijayawada, with camera person Nagraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
And well, Mohan Majhi, the first BJP chief minister in Odisha, took oath along with his 2 deputies KV Singh Deo and Pravati Parida this evening in a grand ceremony that announced the party's arrival in eastern India. Take a look at this report.
Mohan Charan Majhi,
52-year-old Mohan Majhi, a